Perfect. Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah. Well, all right. Like you always say, welcome. Number one sports talking D. We ain't like the Falcons, we won't blow the lead. Look, all we talk is who that, who got cut and who back. Rookies in the vets, should look at. It's the sports coma, you don't wanna miss it. Got the pre-game party, post-game statistics. Get a visit from Sway, maybe DC or 5. It's the hottest thing smoking, Big Q and the guys. Go to YouTube Live, make sure you subscribe. Interviews inside the Saints locker room high. Talk to Drew, Jordan, Zach, Peyton, New Orleans, who that nation. Best believe when I say we bleed gold and black. Ain't a miracle or rivalry could ever hold us back. No, Beastquake, Bounty Gate, let the truth be told. It's the sports coma, all we know is say Super Bowl. Yeah.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Who that fam? What's going on, family? How y'all doing? Welcome to the Sports Coma, fam. Good to see y'all in the chat. Much love to the beautiful black and gold. Chiming in the live stream. Who that to the black and gold faithful? Chiming in this one episode of the Sports Coma. Who that to you? Big ups to the Sports Coma family as we are chiming in on this episode of the Coma. Much love to you and Yearns on this one. As, excuse me, family, I was monitoring the Pelicans matchup. Of course, the Pelicans right now are engaged in a battle with the Clippers right now. They're currently losing. They're currently losing right now, early 24-18, but it's all gravy. I'm monitoring them both because obviously I have a Pelican postgame report to do later on this afternoon. So who that to the black and gold faithful in the building. Thank you guys for being with me on this edition of the Sports Coma. Who that to you? And like I customarily been saying for 6 years now, almost 6 years, is welcome. You're now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. And we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports family. I'm Big Q. If you don't know, this is the Sports Coma, a.k.a. the Great Saint Think Tank. And this is Saturday Saints Talk. We always customarily started off every Saturday as we engage in Saint Talk of the highest order. So, of course, we've been doing consecutive shows, and this one will be good. I wanted to open up the phone lines for the family members. We'll be chiming in with the lines, open up the lines momentarily. First, I was going to play a couple of teleconferences that by Drew Brees, them that I came across that I wanted to share with the Great Saint Think Tank. Y'all know that once again, you know, we continue to kind of keep things going and moving in the right direction. So on this episode of the Coma, we got a really excellent show we got for you today in terms of that. I'm going to play some interviews on the show. So who that to the Black Gold family members in the building? GM Kev, who that to you? Travis 504, Scoob, what's up, Scoob? Good to see you in the chat. Tori Separate Senior, who that to you? Tori as well. Javier, who that to you? Ukula McGee, what up, fam? Good to see you in the chat as well. Byron, good to see you in the chat as well. Byron as well in the building. Good to see you. William Dickerson, what up, Will? How you doing? He says, sup, Big Q and the fam. I see Jets not interested in Clown. I was just thinking that if we could get Griffin, then that can allow Demario Davis and Bradham to run sideline to sideline. Boy, that would be the bomb. Yeah, that would be awesome. Saints have to make sure they take care of business as usual. You know what I'm saying? Please excuse me, family. We're having a bit of our internet sucks tonight. I don't know why. I just had work done. I'm going to have to call them back to come back and do it because it works. And then I don't know what's, you know, it just stinks. It sucks. Never had this much trouble with my internet before. Well, I got him coming back out. The guy just left a couple of days ago. You have to come back out and do it because the street, you know, you got to get it done right. We had lines replaced. I don't know if it's equipment issue or not. So just please bear with me on this episode of the Coma. We'll get through it. You know, the screen might lag a bit. Just don't pay attention to the screen. Just listen to the audio. You know what I'm saying? But thank you for that. Larry Williams, who that to your family? Good to see you in the chat as well. Big ups to you. Revolt Control. What up, Revolt? Good to see you, Revolt, in the building as well. Much love to you and Yearns and the rest of the family members that continue to chime in the stream. Larry, big ups to you. And as well, Joe Gidry. What up, Joe? Good to see you. Who that to your fam? Good to see you in the chat. Big ups to you, fam. Good to see you, JT. What up, fam? He says, I'm in the house, Q. I see you, fam. What's good? Sport Talk 365. What's good, homie? Good to see you in the chat as well. Appreciate you, bro. Chris Williams, yo! He says, who that nation checking in, brother? God bless. Same with you, Chris. Thank you for joining the live stream tonight, my brother. Appreciate you. on this episode of the Coma. Kenrasa, what up, Kenrasa? Kenrasa Bloodstone in the building as well. Good to see you as well, family. So, like I said, fam, we're going to get into it today. Got a few interviews that I want to play. We covered a lot of our news early on. And like I said, I'm going to open up the communication lines a little later on after we get through some of this other stuff pertaining to Drew. I'm going to get through some of this stuff pertaining to Drew Brees' interview that I won't play. I don't know if you guys have heard that he recorded today. I'm going to play some of that and maybe several others just to get a groundwork. Then I'm going to open up the phone lines after I finish the interviews. Who that to you, Rush Hour? Good to see you in the chat as well. Much love to you and Yearns and the rest of the family chiming in. So give me just a second, fam. We're going to cue it up. Now, this is training camp conference call with Drew Brees. I don't know if any of you guys have heard this yet, but this is training camp call with Drew Brees. We're going to play that, this interview right now. It's about 35 minutes. We're going to play maybe about 6 minutes of it. I won't play the entire summation of it. But this is some of the training camp with quarterback Drew Brees. Here it goes.
For us, so we can go ahead and get started.
You guys there?
Morning, Drew. Yeah, morning, Drew.
Hey, good morning. Hey,
let me know if you guys can hear it fine.
I just I want to open it up with a statement, and then after that, I'd be happy to answer any questions you guys have about football training camp, just to kind of get things kicked off. But first, I'd like to say this. I've always been someone who has felt compelled to serve. It's the main reason why Brittany and I came to New Orleans. That was a time when I really wasn't sure if I would ever play football again, but I knew that I had a chance to be
And let me just stop that for a second, family. And I heard Drew what he just said. You know me, I got to get into it. He said he felt compelled to come to New Orleans, and I can hear Drew on that. I appreciate a lot of the humanitarian and philanthropic things that Drew's done over the time since he's been here. But truth be told, let's keep it real. Drew came here because Miami chose Dante Culpepper, and we were the second city. We were the settling city for both of those teams. Either Culpepper or Drew wanted Miami first, and they chose Culpepper foolishly, and then of course we were the second. So let's just keep a trail on that. Let's keep it a buck. Just go keep it a buck.
Part of something much greater than myself. And the last 15 years in New Orleans have been some of the proudest, most rewarding moments of our lives. And we've tried to dedicate ourselves to creating a lasting legacy of hope, of love, and progress, especially in this city. Going back to my comment on June 3rd, to think for a second that New Orleans or the state of Louisiana or the black community would think that I was not standing with them for social justice, that completely broke my heart. It was crushing. Never, ever would I feel that way. Now, I recognize that I missed an opportunity that day. I had an opportunity to talk about and emphasize the social injustices that exist for our black community and our need as a country to support them and to advocate for systemic change. And my lack of awareness in that moment hurt a lot of people. Now, there are three key things I want to make very clear. Number one, I'll always stand for the flag because of what it means to me and to honor all those who have sacrificed, who have served, and died for our country, and all those who have struggled to move this country forward. Second, I acknowledge and respect anyone who chooses to kneel or any other form of peaceful protest to bring attention to the social injustices and systemic racism that so many have endured and continue to endure in our country. I will always support and advocate for the black and brown communities in the fight for social justice, always. Third, I'm the same person now that I've always been. I'm someone who cares deeply for people in my community, New Orleans, the state of Louisiana, people everywhere. I'm someone who will always address the inequities and disparities that exist. I'm someone who has great empathy for those who are hurting, struggling, or victims of injustice. And I'm someone who feels a great sense of responsibility to serve and to lead and to bring true equality to everyone. Thank you. I want to make that very clear. I'll take questions on the season, on football, on training camp. Fire away.
Well, if you're just along those lines, how important do you feel it is to be in senses with teammates once you're in the locker room together, and how important do you think it's been so far, that all the conversations you've already had with them?
We've had many conversations, both over the phone and in person, including over the last few days. This ramp up period has actually given us an opportunity to do quite a bit of that. We have reconciled, and we have put closure on anything from the past, and we are moving forward to focusing on the issues of social justice that face really our entire country, especially some of the things that are happening locally. I'm sure I'm going to get a question about Malcolm here, specifically Malcolm. Listen, I'm a friend of Malcolm. I am his teammate, and I'm his ally. And there are many things that we are all having conversations about, working on together. Where all of our goals are aligned. You guys there?
As far as Drew. As far as look, perception outside the locker room. It feels like you could say the sky is blue, and then people kind of come at you on both sides. Is that kind of something you feel like you're going to have to deal with going forward? Does that trouble you? Where is your thoughts on that?
Listen, I'm really just focused on being the person I've always been.
Hey, Drew,
Could you discuss maybe it's Brett here. Could you discuss maybe just the big picture, not only what you've been through individually? I mean, this is just your 20th season, and it's really highly unusual year in a lot of ways. I think personally for you and for the league as a whole, and how you're kind of adapting to all this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, this whole onboarding protocol. I mean, let's just start with that. We all got here on Monday, right? And so Tuesday was testing, go home. Wednesday test, go home. Thursday nothing. Friday test, go home. Saturday physicals, Sunday physicals, and then finally, if you make it all the way through that with a clean bill of health, then you can step foot in the facility on Monday, and then there's a 10-day ramp up period, right? That's no practice. It's just walkthroughs, and it's lifting weights and conditioning, etc. And then you get into a period of practices with no pads, and we're not putting pads on for about 2.5 weeks. And then you have this 3-week period where it's this incredible sense of urgency. You haven't had a chance to see the rookies, haven't had a chance to see the free agents, really haven't had a chance to be together as a team. And still, the situation is not like a normal training camp would, where, man, you're all in that locker room and it's super tight, and you're at the hotel and it's super tight, and you're having those moments to really develop the camaraderie and all the stuff that goes along with what training camp is partly about. You've got a social distance. You've got these monitors on you that tell you if you're within 6 feet of somebody. It starts beeping red, and if you're too close for too long, then it's basically telling you to move away. So, I mean, we're all going to have to just find our way and navigate through that. But if I can say this about, our team, obviously we've got a lot of guys here that have been together for a long time. And we're in the same system offensively and defensively. So I think that benefits us. Obviously we have some guys that we brought in, free agent, rookie, that we foresee playing integral roles for us this year. So getting those guys up to speed as quickly as possible is imperative. But we'll just take it one day at a time.
Hey, Drew, I was going to ask you.
What's up?
I wanted to ask you about just your decision to come back this year. I know every year you make that evaluation. You said over and over, you go year to year. What went into your decision to come back, and how difficult was it this year, maybe compared to past years?
Listen, it was definitely a decision that I took very seriously, and I gave myself some time from the end of the season, and a lot of thought, a lot of prayer, a lot of conversations with my wife, with others, with mentors. At the end of the day, I chose to come back for my team. Playing.
Have you made a decision? Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Have you made any decisions on this season? Is this it for you, or are you going to?
No, I'm not.
See how it plays out.
Man, I am not looking past one day at a time. with everything, with the new normal. I mean, we're navigating that, and I'm just taking it literally one day at a time. Listen, I'm excited for this season. There's obviously a lot of unknowns, and there's a lot of variables, and there's a lot of things that we're going to have to navigate. But I think that that's something that we've always been very good at. I mean, how many times have we had to evacuate for hurricanes, or have to make adjustments on the fly for various reasons or circumstances? I think it certainly makes you value the type of organization that we're in, and the type of guys that we have in the locker room, and the coaching staff, and I think just the consistency of what we have been able to put together here for so long. But at the end of the day, going back to the reason, I came back, my wife and I had this conversation back when I made the decision. Yes, I'm coming back. I want to play for my team, but I also feel that this year is going to be about something much greater than football. And at this point, I think that was an understatement.
Drew, how's your health, thumb-wise, and just where you feel physically you are right now?
I feel good. I feel good. My body feels good. My arm feels live. Look forward to getting back on the field with the guys and get rolling.
Drew, when you look at some of the things.
What's that?
Tom House had an interesting conversation with the Saints podcast this week about some of the methods you guys used, but more importantly that your goal was to throw a 60-yard pass. I'm kind of curious a little if you could talk about why that was your goal and what you did to get it, but also how much you've been stressing throwing a deeper ball since your attempts in that area have gone down the last couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, we've been working on that since March, and we've applied a lot of different techniques and a lot of different training methods. There have been some moments of discovery with us this offseason. Really COVID presented a great challenge, obviously, because we couldn't go to our normal places and do our normal things, and so we had to adapt with what we were doing from a training perspective. Most of it happened in my backyard. But we discovered a few things in the process. So it was interesting that the circumstances of COVID caused that, created that. But at the end of the day, there were some beneficial things that came from that I'm hoping will pay dividends.
All right, fam, that's Drew Brees. We're gonna stop it there. I know it's a lot. It's at least another 30-something, another 20+ minutes from Drew Brees on there. But we learned quite as much from that right then, didn't we? A lot of information. He came out the gate addressing some of the topics. Of course, most of this stuff we hadn't heard from Drew since it was said, and he's been relatively out of the spotlight. But it's good to see Drew Brees finally come back to addressing some of these issues that kind of helped that move the Saints along. So that's something that we'll face some of the questions that Drew was having. Very, very idealistic for him to come out and take that fire to jump on it. First, he addressed the rumors with him and his throwing, well, not rumors, but the reports of him and his throwing coach as he was lunching 50+ yard balls with relatively ease. You heard him address that. He didn't get into the particulars, but he said his arm feels live, which is good. He's healthy, which was another thing we were supposed to touch on some time ago. Clippers 44, Pelicans 32 right now, family, almost in the central part of the game, just for the Pelican family members who are interested. But what's interesting about the Drew commentary is the fact that we do recognize that Drew Brees is not afraid, that he's definitely a person that's a very moral person that does stand on his square, so to speak, if you know what I mean. And he's a person that's not playing any games in terms of what his faith is. He'll let you know his faith and he stand on it. Remember, this is a guy that's been in the league for over 20 years. He's 40 years old. And a lot of people, when you have a clean name, a lot of people won't throw dirt on your name. You know, they got a lot of this, a lot of operations out there that mudsling. But would you get the mudslinging on, they smell ass, then they got a problem with it. So, my issue is Drew Brees has been relatively clean. So any opportunity someone can get to jump on him. And listen, we live in America, man. You know what I'm saying? We live in America. And we do have the choice of who we're going to support and who we don't support. And that's your private choice, you know what I'm saying, or what you tend to do. That's a great thing about being in America. You know what I'm saying? That's a beautiful thing about it. But Drew, he came through and he addressed a bevy of different issues and topics that a lot of people wanted to know. Now, next, family, before we get into that, we're going to see about Cam Jordan. We're going to open up one with Cam. We're going to spend one with Cam Jordan next. Of course, a lot of people see Drew as the offensive leader, and that's absolutely true. The next interview we're going to spend is from the defensive leader, Mr. Cam, a very colorful Cam Jordan. We'll tune him up in just a second and play him because we know Cam has a lot to say. And after we spend Cam, I think that'll pretty much be the end of it. I might give you a little bit of Teron Upstead. I know he had some stuff to say as well, but we'll see what our time looking like. But here go Cam Jordan.
Go ahead. We
chiming in.
Just hit star 7 to unmute. Hey, how you doing? Really good. Really good. Considering everything that's happened, how different does this feel, or does this feel different than the normal beginning of a training camp?
I would say I'm probably more anxious about heading into camp on different levels. Just in terms of the guidelines of having 80 or 90 guys in the building, you sort of weary of what can happen in the COVID-19 times, and at the same time overly anxious and excited just to get back to seeing other guys. I mean, I've been sort of in building since March, rehabbing my core injury, so I never really left New Orleans. Me and the family stayed here, which was great in terms of training. I never really got out of shape. I'd like to say I feel like I'm in the best shape possible headed into camp, and at the same time, now things get kicked off. So hopefully we stay on the right path with the right procedures in place that I think the Saints have tried to put in place, and we were able to get through a season. Of course, I wouldn't say flawlessly.
Please smash the like button, family. Please smash that like button. If you're in the chat, over 40 of us in the chat, please smash the like button. Thank you.
Hey, Cam, I talked to Ron about this, and I know you and him kind of got together last year about this time to distribute school supplies to some of the local kids in the New Orleans area. And you mentioned how, you guys are still intending to do that because it's important, but you're going to have to get creative. Just how much thought or, has it been challenging for you guys to stay involved in the community and giving back despite all the COVID restrictions?
Not at all. If anything, it's just, there's different avenues you can go about that. I mean, as, people in the city know, you can give back through Second Harvest, and I mean, there's No Kids Hungry, and there's so many different foundations doing such great work. You can almost just try and help and pick one and try and join up. Again, it's just different avenues now. Now for backpack giveaway, there's the complete media divide that you can try and get your mind around, this data divide that's really affecting kids now who aren't able to go to school and physically, so now you have to rely on Wi-Fi, now you have to rely on, laptops, iPads, whatever the surface relative is. But there's so many different places where you can focus your energy on to try and better our community. Again, it's all about getting a little bit more creative.
Hey, man, we don't know what the NFL is going to do as far as
6 weeks enough time, or do you feel like, hey, it's going to be enough time? It has to be.
Could you run that question back? There was a couple of different voices going on. I didn't catch one.
Yeah, with a 6 week run up to the regular season, is that enough time, or basically do you just have to make it be enough time?
I mean, if you said, Cam, could you play this Sunday at midnight? I guess I'd meet you out in the parking lot somewhere. I'm ready. I assume, the team meeting we had when Sean said I want everybody to come in and be in their best condition life. I assume everybody met that memo. Because I'm talking to guys like Craig and DeMario, they never stop working. I FaceTime Craig, and he's just getting out of a workout. I hit up DeMario, he's still working out. So I know for sure guys are biting at the bit to try and get back in this facility to, again, corral and win a Super Bowl. I don't know if it's going to be, for veterans, guys know how to get ready and be prepared. For the rookies coming in, they just have to follow veteran leadership. I mean, the great thing about the Saints is, I look around and all the starters are returning, minus, is there a minus? Unless you're Alex Anzalone back? Oh, I'm thinking defense. On offense, yeah, Larry. But you also had Nick Easton, who supplemented as a guard, and we brought in Cesar Ruiz to play whatever position. Knowing Sean, he might play slot. I don't know anymore. It seems like on the offensive side, the more you can do, the better.
Hey, Cam, how different will it be? And we don't know what the NFL is going to do about fans yet, but how different would it be for you, especially a defensive guy, just playing in a dome with no fans?
I've prepared myself mentally thinking that every game is going to be, feel like an away game in terms of the volume. Because when you talk about the energy that you receive from our Saints fans, you talk about the level of volume of the noise they create. That is such a telling feature of our dome. I mean, when you come to the Saints dome, you're getting the loudest dome in America, filled with nothing but Saints fans cheering, jaunting, everything about it. So you feel that energy. Now, sort of trying to prepare to now know that there's going to be a limited number of fans or whatever happens, compared to no fans. That, you're going to have to just deal with it. This is something that we'll get by. We know that Who Dat Nation is going to support wherever they are, albeit, their living rooms this year. So that's something that we have to overcome and just realize that, come third down, it's not the hypest session in the world with the fans, but it's a laser-in focus with the team.
Cam, you guys have
That's Cam Jordan, family, breaking in about 6 minutes of his 18-minute interview, a teleconference call that was done this morning. So a lot of information from both Drew Brees and Cam Jordan, team leaders, man, big-time team leaders. Next up the bat, man, we'll spin some interview from All-Pro offensive tackle Terron Armstead. He's next up. He's the final of our interviews, interview sessions. We'll spin him momentarily. So thank the family for chiming in once again. Big ups to the family in the chat as well. Revolt Patrol, Crass,
Hey, Teron, how you doing?
Javier, Laurie, Smoke Dog, the Pelicans, Nola, all y'all. Who that to you? Thank you for joining us. Here goes
when you
Cam.
when you return, and how many times you've gone in for a test, and just how weird this procedure is compared to years past?
Well, first off, good morning, everyone. Yeah, this week has been different for sure. Like a lot different than my past 7 reporting days. So all we've pretty much been doing is going in for COVID testing, filling out a questionnaire on if we have any symptoms, and that's it. And then we're, supposed to be quarantining for the rest of the day. Go back, test again, same thing. We didn't have to test today, but we'll be back testing tomorrow morning. And I think after that, we start the physicals Saturday.
Teron, usually there's kind of some excitement or some anticipation leading into training camp. What is it this year with all the odd circumstances?
Still a bit of uncertainty. Still uncharted territory for sure. So we just trying to go with the flow and
Teron Armstead is on the line. Offensive lineman Teron Armstead on the line.
Same excitement seeing guys. We had different testing times, but pulling up and going to test, and by the time you take off, you see a few of the guys, and so it's always great. It's like the first day of school, seeing the guys again.
Teron, what kind of challenges would it be for an offensive line? Because y'all kind of what you do is kind of based on continuity and working together. What are the challenges y'all are going to face? With the limited time.
Just do our best to try to make up for those lost reps, that lost time. It's great for us to have 4 returning starters and a guy that heard a ton of great things about, and Cesar to come in and be a quick learner and grasp the offense pretty fast, and even past the starting file, we got a ton of returning guys from last year with a lot of experience and some really intelligent young men. So I think we'll be able to take on the challenge head on, and we're gonna be rolling and working and try to get up to full speed as soon as possible. But we're gonna get it done.
Teron, is there anything extra you guys have to do to get Cesar up to speed? As you mentioned, you got 4 returners, but you got a young guy who hadn't played with you all.
Yeah, well, the young guys have been in those meetings, those virtual meetings, going through the playbook, diving in the playbook. So that's extremely important for them. So by the time we get on the field, we got to hit the ground running. It's not much time to slow roll it. We on a limited clock before we take some real snaps. So try to make every single rep count. All the practice time, all the meeting time, we got to make all that count. And it's nothing that any of us did to put ourselves in the situation, but we're here now.
All-Pro offensive lineman Teron Armstead, family. Prior to that, Cam Jordan. Prior to that, Drew Brees. 3 of the team's leaders. Guys that are unimaginable successes to the organization. Absolutely fantastic personnel. Drew Brees is an all-time great first ballot Hall of Famer. Owner of several dozen passing records, the ones that really count and matter. Teron Armstead, a perennial All-Pro, one of the best offensive linemen that ever will be for the Saints, one of the best. And, of course, Cam Jordan, who's a spectacular defensive end, who is growing to astronomical heights in the league in his 10th season. And he's also the all-time second best sacker, right behind the Hall of Fame Super Bowl champion, Ricky Jackson, albeit that Ricky collected his Super Bowl with the San Francisco 49ers He still had one nonetheless, and he is the wearer of a gold jacket or bronze jacket, whatever you want to call it. He has one. And Cam is behind him in terms of sacks, and I recommend he probably will get in the next 2 or 3 seasons. If he keeps producing at a high level, he'll get there quicker if the Saints get him some defensive end help. Anyway, family, that was some of the interviews that we chimed up, just passing about 40 minutes of the show. Currently, right now, about 3, maybe just under 4 minutes of action. Pelicans trailing 69-40. Right now, they're just getting it handed to them by the Clippers. And, well, anyway, we're going to keep it going. You never know, it might turn around like it did for Utah when we were up by 16 and they were able to come back and win by 2. Hopefully, I ain't gonna get into it. I ain't get into my Pelican spiel. If y'all want to hear that, go to Pelican Post Game Report. Links in the description section below for all that Pelican talk if you're interested in the Pelicans. Anyway, who that to the black and gold, beautiful, chiming in, Eddie Evans. I see you, Eddie. Who that to you, Eddie? Uncle Paulie in the building. Who that to you, Uncle Paulie? I see your family. Crass. Who that to your family? Tramal. Who that to you as well? Who else we got here chiming in that I missed? Smoke Dog. What up, Smoke? Smoke MJ. 504 Nola in the building. Good to see your family as well. I mentioned my dog Revolt Control and the rest of the family. Pelicans Nola as well. Lori. Who that to you, Lori? Lori Hackler in the building. Much love to you, Lori. Big ups to you as well. And the rest of the family members chiming in the stream as well. So if I missed you, hit me with a who that, and I'll give you a who that back. I represent and the rest of the great Saint Think Tank. Now, Iceman, also who that to you, Iceman? I see you, fam. Now, family, we're going to open up the live lines. The live lines are open tonight for this afternoon for the family to get their talk on. We just passed 40 minutes right now. Pelicans looking pretty pathetic right now. Who that to you, Byron? Mr. Jerry, who that to you, Mr. Jerry? Jerry Poirier Jr. in the building. Good to see you. Appreciate you joining us on the show. So appreciate you there, family, as well. Dada, big ups to you. I see you, fam, as well. So 504-475-4482. The live line is open. Feel free to chime in. Questions, concerns, comments, dealing with the black and gold family. You know how we go. And just before I can get it out, we got a caller. All right, family. Thank you for calling the show. Who's on the line? All right, fam. All right, hold on. All right, fam. Can you hear me?
Yes, hello?
Yeah, okay. That Iceman, is that you, brother?
Hey, man. You right, it is me, Q, man.
The one and only Iceman. What's good, bro?
Man, look here, man. I know we talk about Saints, man. But I'm here to talk about the Pelicans, man. This is shameful, man.
I know,
this
bro.
This is shameful.
I'm watching
It's embarrassing.
Terrible.
First of all, you come back with that pathetic, you let the game slip away against the Utah Jazz.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. This is pathetic. I'm going to just say it right now, folks. Gentry is not the answer. I know we may all, disagree on that, but I think we need to come to one accord. Gentry is not the answer.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get rid of him and let's go out and get someone like Mark Jackson so we can build a team chemistry and an identity. Because right now, the Pelicans don't have one, man. What is this with Zion? This dude been off 4 months and you still need to load manage? What's that about? What's going on up in here, man? I know that this is the sports coma. I just subscribed to the Pelicans post game report and all of that, so I can get the basketball because I love basketball, man. I love basketball, but this is pathetic, man. Lonzo Ball. I closed down the bakery in New Orleans after that 4 turnover performance, and then here come Lonzo Ball with more apple turnovers. Here he go again, bro. I'm over it, bro. I closed down the bakery, and then Lonzo Ball opened up the bakery again, bro. I mean, what am I supposed to do about that, Hugh? Huh?
Bro,
that's shameful, man.
That's terrible, bro.
Let's work our way on to Brandon Ingram. What the hell is Brandon Ingram doing? He's playing pathetic, jacking up ill-advised shots. What is he trying to do? You know what I'm saying? You trying to prove that this is your team? Is there some ego in Brandon Ingram that we're not discussing? This is pathetic, man.
Mm-hmm.
And then you down in the second quarter, bruh. In the second quarter, and you almost down 30, bruh. Where is the fight? Where is the energy? Y'all been off 4 months. It ain't like y'all been intensely, going at it in a grueling season all of these months, and now y'all tired. You been off, bruh. You had a time to let your body rest and accumulate and build strength, and you coming out here lackluster, fam. Man, the Pelicans are embarrassing the city right now, man. I'm going to call it what it is, bruh. And then we got a dude that's supposed to be a generational talent. Well, why is he not getting the ball, man? Well, why is he not playing more than 15 minutes, man? This dude is supposed to be lethal, man. I know this kid Zion can do something, and his energy is effective. He has what Taysom Hill has on the Saints, man. This dude has the energy that when he steps on the court, people just gravitate to him, and it's like he just has a love for the game, man, and that radiates throughout the team. But that's what I wanted to say, man. Gentry is not the answer, man. This dude is horrible, man. He's a horrible, pathetic coach that has multiple seasons of floundering and not being able to put together a damn starting lineup that can play consistent, man. This is shameful, man. This is horrible stuff. It's embarrassing. And I wanted to come on here as soon as I could to embarrass and lambaste Alvin Gentry. I know that this show gets to the ears of the Saints. Well, maybe we could get to the ear of Benson and pass this on to the Pelican side of things. Gentry needs to go, man. It's time for Gentry to go, man. And that's what I wanted to say. I'm getting back in the chat, man.
Appreciate you, Ice Man. Thank you, brother. And who that to you?
Who?
That's Ice Man, man. Ice Man fired up. Need to call him the Fire Man because the Ice Man is nothing cold about the Ice Man today. Need to call him the Fire Man. That's what we got to call the Ice Man today. Yeah, this is an embarrassment, man. The Pelicans right now 77-44, man. It's definitely an embarrassment of epic proportional, and I've been really hardcore on them. They gave them, that's the one snafu. We had a laundry list before Griffin came over and took over the team, and the laundry list was one of the things was to get rid of Alvin Gentry because he was the one component I felt outside of Gentry was an not Gentry, but Dale Demps was an incompetent nincompoop. Scared to make trades. Had he had made the trade, the same trade that David Griffin came in and made, he would have still been on this team. I'm just going to keep it real with you. Because that trade, he would have got Kyle Kuzma and the same picks. It would have been the same trade with Kuzma. They came in, brought the youth in here and everything, and Gentry was the guy that they were supposed to get rid of. They should have got rid of Alvin Gentry and brought in their own coach, Mark Jackson. They even had what's his name? The coach that talks on the television. I forgot the man. They twin, Van Gundy. Van Gundy wanted to coach the team, and I mean, it's an epic. She likes Alvin Gentry. He's such a nice man. She says like he might be a nice man, and if you like Gentry, and he might be a good dude at that. But if you like him that much, give his ass a job, handing out tickets or whatever else, sweeping up the arena, but don't have him over the team. I've kept saying that he's not a complete coach. He doesn't have the defensive principle. You need a team that can be not only score but play defense, and that's the issue. His system, I kept saying the man's system is flawed. You can't have him to jack up irresponsible three-point shots without somebody underneath the goal to get a rebound for a stick back. How you justifying letting these guys irresponsibly run down and take shots before the offense is set up? It's just absolutely foolish. It's like, well, they can score a lot. When is the last time an offense like that actually won some? That one-sided, unbalanced ass offense actually done anything? A defensive team beat them every time. Look at Utah. Utah, a half-court team. The Pelicans are a fast-paced team, but they beat them yesterday because they get brain dead and start jacking up irresponsible shots as opposed to challenging the paint, going to the paint when their shots are not falling. Brandon Ingram, an all-star, thinking that it's to his team when really it's not his team. It's Zion Williamson's team, by the way. But Ingram jacking up the last shot yesterday on the ego check when he was cold as a flounder in the fourth quarter. We covered this all on Pelican Post Game Report. I'm just saying, the same passion we come at with the Saints, we got it with the Pelicans. Pelican Post Game Report on YouTube, fam. Feel free to join. Thank you, Iceman. Or Fireman after that comment. Thank you for joining the Sports Coma family. Who's on the line?
What up, Q? This Byron, man.
What's good, Byron? How you doing, brother?
Ain't nothing much to it, bro. Man, I was hearing the Iceman about them Pelicans, bro. They're looking bad, bro.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with them teams, bro. They look like they like the same team that it was that they used to be, though, bro. When they played Utah that third night game, man, they blew the 19-point lead. Utah came back on, lost by 2 points against them. Now they lose to the Clippers. I'm like, golly. I'm like, whoo, they are freaking looking terrible, bro.
I know,
and
bro.
I've been saying, Aaron Gentry, man, he got to go. He got to go.
Right.
I mean, he's not a good head coach like he used to be, man. If he can't get his team together, though, something wrong with him, though, bro. I think to me that you give him a extension on his deal last year on his contract.
For what?
Now I thought he could be the.
Well, and that's the problem, bro. Why? And that's the thing that I have. Alvin Gentry did not deserve an extension on his contract last year. He had a losing season. You do not. We do. That sets a bad precedent. It's a bad idea for you to reward. That's like giving your son or your daughter $100 when they bring home a failing ass report card. Here you go. It go $100. Good work. We don't reward a failure in dysfunction, man. That's the problem with society now. We rewarding dysfunction and not singling out dysfunction and look to eradicate it. I mean, isn't that not the example of what we were taught as good people on the planet, is to self-correct and not just sit here and say, well, I am what I am and I'm gonna stick to it? No, that's not the example that was set. Every day you're supposed to be better than what you was yesterday. That's called progress. True. If you're not moving forward with that ideology, you are considered dead. If you're not moving and changing in a positive and a growthful and in a positive way, manifesting positive things, you consider dead. You're going backwards. If you're standing still or going backwards, you consider dead. And we're not supposed to revolute, which means goes back. We're supposed to evolute. So we don't reward dysfunction. And I think that's bad. And they're learning the foolishness of their ways right here. But anyway, bro, go ahead. What you got to think about as far as the Saints are concerned, Byron? I know you're upset about the Pelicans, bro. But what's your thought process on some of the interviews that you heard today from Drew Brees, Cam, and Teron on their thoughts heading to the season, bro?
Well, I mean, I agree with everything Drew Brees had mentioned about, his healthy and everything. He said he's in good shape. His arm good and everything.
Now, Byron, man, you talked about. Let me throw this at you, bro. You heard Drew Brees in the interview make mention that him and Malcolm Jenkins are good. They're teammates, and he's his friend. He did make sure he didn't elaborate. He threw it out there and then left it, but he didn't go like me and him went to the barbecue. He didn't do all that. He just said me and Malcolm Jenkins are friends, and then left it at that. So Drew came out. He addressed it straight away, then got into it. So I mean, everything that you will want to hear from your starting Hall of Fame quarterback, you hear Drew Brees was saying it in this interview, and I had to let a few more of it. I could have spent another 5 minutes or so because it was a pretty good, interesting interview, and where you won't hear from the team leader and his thought process. Now about the fact that Drew Brees ultimately did contribute. Him and his wife did give $10 million, over $10 million to charitable causes, including the clinics that they've setting up in the poor areas throughout the area. $5 million in conjunction with Ashna for the clinics. $5 million for I think it was the food bank. He had $5 million. That was a couple months for the food bank, plus the money for the Black Hall of Fame virtual event. So is he living to the chat? I'm gonna throw this out to the chat. Since we went through all this, what happened a couple of months ago, how do you feel now about Drew? Many people say, we forgive you, Drew. After that, there's the shirts out there. Go to the pro shop for that. Really nice shirts. I forgive you, Drew shirts. Really nice shirts. Check them out. But what is your perception? And I'm talking to the chat as well. Does the contributions that Drew has made since he made his statement, how do you feel about him now? Do you feel better about him?
Man. Yeah, I mean, like I said before, Q, I know, like I said, I was really disappointed when he made about the flag and everything, I was so mad about that. But now, to me about when he was, when we heard an interview of him, 30 seconds ago, I was saying, okay, maybe I'm not too sure I forgive him on this though. You know what I'm saying? I think to me that, you know what I'm saying? I'm glad he mentioned everything, in his interview and stuff like that. But I still don't feel Drew Brees like I used to though, bro. You know what I'm saying? To be honest with you, because I don't know what kind of Drew Brees that we know, since he came to New Orleans and everything. I thought he was gonna be the guy, that could say some good things in his remark and everything in his words. But I think that this is the different Drew Brees we're dealing right now though, bro. And I don't feel in his shoes though, at all. I know he's my quarterback and everything, but I think I just don't see him as a guy that's gonna respond to the ability of his reaction and everything, about the flag and all this stuff. And I think that everybody was so tipped about that, and everybody was so upset with that in his comment and everything. I was so desperate with that, and my family, they feel the same way too, you know what I'm saying? And I just think I can't forget about that though, bro. I can't accept that. You know what I'm saying? I think I more disagree with Drew Brees. I'm not on the same as his path, and I think I'm not gonna have his back though, anywhere it is. So I think that my suggestion is that I think that we know that I'm not feel comfortable with this though. You know what I'm saying? But I hear everything he was saying though in his own terms, and I'm not gonna be cool with that though. I'm not gonna let it slide. That he said that about him and Michael James gonna be friends and everything, but you're not too sure what James gonna, then he gonna be friends with you though, because when James made his comment about Drew Brees made in his statement, I think that Michael James was upset about that. You know what I'm saying? And I think that okay, you say you want you and James be friends and everything, we get that, but how it's gonna be as a teammate and everything? That's the question. Because on the field, off the field, anywhere it is, though, it's all about y'all going to get along with each other or it's going to be a problem. And I think that Drew Brees and Michael James realize that they two grown people, you know what I'm saying? And I think they got to work things out, they teammates and everything. So that's my my opinion on that, though, Q. And I'm just thinking, I said, I'm not gonna agree with Drew Brees, anything that he bring, that he mentioned about. And I think I'm not going to be, satisfied with that. But I'm just really mad when he made it, like I say, about all that stuff for a couple of months ago, way back in I don't know what month it was, but I just say that I'm not on the same page with Drew Brees though, bro. He's my quarterback though.
Well, I mean, you got the right to feel that way, Byron. I mean, it's what it is. A lot of people in the chat, Revolt, Uncle Paulie, are agreeing with you. Some aren't. A lot of people aren't. So I guess it's a split across the board. Me, I'm just gonna pay attention to him, and I'm a forgiving person, man. I'm not gonna hang too down on you, especially if I see you trying to do something positive. If you're doing something positive, you know what I'm saying, and you really, and I see you really putting your foot forward, who am I to kind of keep squashing you down on you? Because at the end of the day, I'm gonna be me, and I'm gonna do who I am, and then of course you have the right to draw support back from whoever you see fit, whoever you don't want to support. So I understand and respect the commentary of the great Saint Think Tank, man, coming into this one. But I think the onset. Let me ask you this, Byron, not to cut you off, bro, but the mindset of the team moving forward. We covered this on the show yesterday about the acquisition of both linebacker Nigel Bradham, the former Eagle, won a championship with Malcolm Jenkins and Pat Robertson with the Eagles a few years back. He's now a member of the Saints linebacking core. And then, of course, the Saints add wide receiver Benny Fowler in the same day as well. Now, Fowler is a guy that's been with the Giants, the Broncos, the Bears. He's been with several teams. He also won a Super Bowl within his first 4 years of being with the Denver Broncos. He's a guy that has 4.38 speed. He ran that at his Michigan State Pro Day as well. He collegiately played. He's looked as he's a guy that's a 6-year guy coming into his 7th year. Interesting perspective. What's your thoughts on those two guys?
I like the move. I like it. 100%. I like the move with Nigel Bradman. That's going to bring to the table this defense with the linebacker core behind Jamar Davis Like I said before in the last show, bro. If Anzalone can stay healthy, bro. If Anzalone can stay healthy, that I ain't gonna have no worry about him though, bro. But I just want him to keep on the field. I want to be 100% for the season, full strength. You know what I'm saying? But I like the move with Nigel Bradham and Benny Flowers. You know what I'm saying? I like them two guys to add to the pieces. You know what I'm saying? Because I think that the Saints doing a great job, bro. They handle their business and everything. They make some moves in the free agency and everything. I think that they know the guys they're gonna get in this team, and I think that it's gonna be a good year though, bro. I'm so excited for football. You know, once we get close to the regular season and everything, I'm so happy that we're gonna have football. You know, back again. You know, for 2020, and I'm looking forward. You know, these guys gonna do that training camp once they get in pads and show us at camp and everything, and they're gonna rock and roll, bro.
True. I think so too. The Saints are really just stacking a deck in their favor. Of course, the next big move to come is August the 4th, when the team start kind of chopping off personnel that is supposed to happen as they chop down from 90-man roster or 89, whatever it is currently, down to 80, and then from the 80 they go to 53. I think it's I forgot the date, but close to at the end of August. So what we're looking at is pretty awesome, to say the least, man. And I think it's definitely a plus and a bonus to have both those guys. But it does also mean that there could be an issue as far as the wide receivers go. When you see a guy like Fowler show up here, it could be interesting because he has the ability to play inside and out, and he makes difficult catches on the inside as well. And to get a guy that has a lot of playoff experience, won a Super Bowl, can also kick return, punt return. That move, it seemed like a body-worn move, or just add the warm body to the fray. But at the end of the day, you look at it and say, man, hold on, this guy might have an opportunity to slip in there. Kwan, in any capacity, Kwan Smith should have been at least half of what a Benny Fowler is. And at least half of, because truth be told, I don't know if Kwan Smith is that fast. I know he's pretty fast. I'm gonna have to look up his 40 time again.
Fast, though. Yeah,
I know, yeah, right. But so that's the thing. He has the same size, and this is what he should be. He should be at least a Benny Fowler, if anything. Not saying Benny Fowler is anything terrific, but he should be at least on that level. You know, is what I'm saying. So when it come down to it, we just have to keep looking at it and see what goes on, man. But any last comments, Byron, before we move on to the next caller, brother?
Like I said, you know, Benny Fowler, you know, like I said, I saw him that they use him in the slot when he was with the Giants. And I think that, you know, if he could do the same thing with us, though, I think that'd be perfect. But like I say, Kwan Smith, man, it's gonna be it for him, though, bro. I just don't see Kwan Smith gonna do anything particular if he can't show himself flash out like he used to be. And I think that, to me, is that it's gonna be a tough battle, though, bro, at training camp. And I think, to me, that every position, you know, from the corners, offensive line, wide receiver core, linebackers, I think it's gonna be huge, though, bro. I'm looking forward to see this, though, bro. But I just think that we got a good team, got a whole lot of talent on this roster, and I think that Sean Payton, he know the guys that he gonna be getting, though, that's gonna make this team, though, no matter what. And I think it's gonna be a slight, you know, doubt that, you know, who the guys that is gonna make this 53-man roster, man, once the cutdowns get, you know, towards, you know, on the 5th of September and everything. And I think it's gonna be awesome, though, bro. And I'm happy, and I'm just ready for this football to begin.
All right. Well, I appreciate you, Byron, for your sentiments and your words, my brother. You be safe out there, my man. And who that to you, brother?
Thank you, BQ, and who that to you, bro?
Who that? That's Byron, man. Appreciate Byron chiming in, as well as the Iceman. The live line's open, family, 504-475-4482, 504-475-4482. Reading some of the comments, man. Who that to the rest of the family members chiming in the live stream. True Louisianimal. Who that to your family? Big shout out to you, Ray Long. What up, Ray? True Louisiana says, I moved in on it didn't realize to change how I felt about him or look at Drew, but it was stupid what he said. Those shouldn't have been said. Thank you for that. Ray says they moved on. You should move on too. There you go, Ray Long. Thank you, Ray. Tanker 12 said wasn't the timing of the situation. None of this would have been a big deal. They did catch it at a slow news cycle. That's what really happened. Randy Major, who that to your family? Said I think the players are over it, no doubt about it. As well, Crest says Drew loves New Orleans, the people, and the culture more than anything. Poor choice of words on the flag comment. Thank you, Crest. Always wise and sobering commentary from my boy Crest. Appreciate it, bro. Ray Long says Jenkins is a clown. Jenkins is a clown. You know what, man? A lot of people have mixed feelings on Jenkins. You know, I remember what Eric Reed said about Jenkins, you know, and that stuck to me about what he said. And the backroom deals he did spoke to me about his character, you know, and we do got, and y'all got to understand, man, in this world, they do got astroturf ass movements. They got phonies and fakes that they put in the kind of, if you got a real, let's say if you got a grassroots movement moving along, you know, the frustration of the people. Then all of a sudden the person that started the movement is then replaced. And then you got a character sitting up there you ain't never heard of before, but he takes on or guides the movement. Most of the time that's how they, you know, that's how they stir these developments, you know, and try to control it. But Malcolm Jenkins is a guy that a lot of people feel that way about, that he's not who he pretends to be. And there had some stuff. I done seen some chinks in his armor, by the way. Like I said, when we signed him, I'm gonna keep my eye on Malcolm Jenkins because I know who he is. Anyway, thank you for commenting, family, in the chat. We got a call on the line. Thank you for calling the Great Saint Think Tank family. Who on the line? Smoke, what up, Smoke? What's good with you, brother?
Man, what's good? Q, I finally get to catch you live one time, man. Woo! I used to have to watch the reruns, man.
Good to hear from you, Smoke, bro. What's up, bro? How you doing?
Man, I'm doing good, man. We back, baby.
That's right.
We in the saddle.
That's right, cuz.
At that time, bro, I'm already itching. Time to get to it. Man. I'm just dying to see, man, how we gonna put this puzzle together, man. We got too much talent. I know all of them can't stay, but I'm ready to see how it's gonna turn out, man. I think we're gonna have a good season if we can play a full season.
Well, let me ask you this, Smoke. Let me ask you this, Smoke, bro. You've been watching some of the transactions the Saints have made. What you feel about Bradham and the signing of the veteran wide receiver and Benny Fowler? What you think about those two guys?
Well, I like Nigel, man. I really like him. He's pretty solid. You know, I watched him play, man. He hit pretty hard. I know that much.
Mm-hmm.
Now Fowler, he's solid too, man. I remember him from Denver, playing with Denver, man. He was pretty good then. You know, now the other teams I'm not too familiar with that he was playing with, but I knew he was solid back when he played with Denver. But that wide receiver room looking pretty tough now. After Thomas and Sanders, it's looking pretty tough after them two. I don't know who's gonna make it. What you think?
Well, I mean, I agree with you, bro. I think Bradham. The question in the chat, man, was asked by one of the family members in the chat about what do you think Fowler fits? Fowler is coming in to start. I'm gonna keep it honest with you. Fowler is coming in. Not Fowler, but Nigel Bradham is coming in to start. He ain't coming in as a reserve. I mean, he's gonna come in and right. He coming in as the guy that's probably you had the three starting linebackers as it stand. AJ Klein went to Buffalo. Then you had Kiko Alonso, who the team re-signed, but he took a massive pay cut. Of course, he's rehabbing from an injury. And his position, Nigel Bradham could play his position. So you could see Demario Davis, Bradham, and then, of course, Alex Anzalone there as well. So he's going to start. Now, as far as the wide receiver, Benny Fowler, you know, that's anybody's guess. But you have a 6-year vet. Now listen to it. Look at it like this. This is how my mind works. The Saints went out and got a 6-year veteran wide receiver who plays special teams, who runs a 4.38 at his pro day at Michigan State. He's fast. He can play inside and out. I've watched several highlight clips on Fowler. Excuse me. I always miss this guy's name up with Dante Fowler from who plays for the Falcons. But Benny Fowler is a guy, man, he's the most experienced wide receiver you have behind Emmanuel Sanders. Think about that for a second. He has a Super Bowl ring. He has experience. He can play special teams. He can play inside and out. He's quick and he has good size. He's 6'1", 210 or 215 pounds. He's really intelligent too, positive, and the guy's a best-selling author. He's a best-selling author, and he's a motivational speaker. So you can't get any a higher character than this guy. So I mean, he's the most experienced wide receiver you have behind Emmanuel Sanders. He's 6 years going into his 7th year. Everybody else on the wide receiver corps doesn't have that amount of years. I mean, probably the most experienced guy you might have might be Austin Carr there, and Austin might be what, four or 5 years, I think 3 or 4 years, something like that. Tommy Lee Lewis is what, 3 or 4 years. But if you look at the rest of them, all these guys are either first year or undrafted guys, or you might have a guy like Maurice Harris, I think is 3 or 4 years in the league. But be that as it may, this guy going into his 7th year, yes, you know, he's the most experienced wide receiver the Saints have. That's behind Emmanuel Sanders. The rest of them are 3 or 4 year old guys. So a career in years speaking. So it's interesting because I thought about like, man, this dude might be one of the people that stick in there. And being that everything is shortened, you could see him play a lot because of this shortened fact that you don't have a preseason and you have a limited amount of practices. So just as Sean Payton, the administrator, said, man, we might have to rely on these veterans. Something that Q been saying, stop relying so much on these rookies. We need veterans, guys that been to the big dance. And guess what? 2 of these guys that brought here a couple of days ago, Bradham and both Fowler, are guys with Super Bowl rings and playoff experience. So, you know, you can't beat that. Hold on for just a second, Smoke. We got another call on the line. Thanks for calling the Great Saint Think Tank family. Who's on the line?
What's going on, brother?
What's up, brother Paul? What's going on there, brother?
Oh, I'm doing good, man. I'm just chomping at the bit, man.
I hear you, brother Paul. Give me just a second. We got Big Smoke Dog on the line. We're going to hear what Smoke said. Then after he finished, my brother, I'll get you on in there.
That'll work.
All right. Thank you, brother Paul. All right, Smoke Dog. Go ahead, brother.
All right, man. I think didn't they give us some extra roster spots this year?
Did they? You kind of got garbled right there. Smoke. Say that again.
This year?
You still count. You sound really low, bro.
Okay. Dang. I say, didn't they give us extra roster spots this year?
Any extra roster spots? You say?
Yes, sir.
Well, not on the active roster. I mean, it's still the same with 53. But as far as the practice squad, it's 16 players. So if the Saints should, you know, like I've been complaining for some time about how the Saints use the practice squad, we might see them actually use it the way that it was intended to be used. Like it's a side pocket where you stash extra stuff at, and then when you get low in the wide receiver, you just grab the guy out of the practice squad, put him on the active roster while you have moved the other guy to the injury list or wherever you're going to move him at. So I mean, that's what I thought that's the most the most effective way to use the practice squad. And remember, you had the teams like Philadelphia was using it like that for years. If a guy get hurt on the active roster, they merely just grab from the practice squad and put that guy on the team. And that's key, because the reason being to do that is because the guy that's on the practice squad is familiar with what you're doing because he's in the building. He's practicing with the rest of the players, so he has an idea of what the scheme is, whether he's offense, defense, or special teams. So to have a guy like that to snatch for and put on active roster, I think what it was intended to be used. But if you notice, the Saints don't tend to do that. The Saints will go on the street and get somebody like they did several times last year, and I criticized them for it. Remember, they went on the street and got that tight end. I forgot the guy's name. They went on there to the street and got a tight end off the street, put him on the active roster, and I was like, hold on here. How you snatching this guy off the street and put him on the active roster when you got this tight end sitting here on the practice squad? Right after I said it, like a day or so later, they cut the guy off the active roster and put the practice squad guy on the active roster. So, I mean, it's like, you know, was that a mix-up in the paperwork? You know, what was that all about? But that's what I'm saying. The use of using, like, they snatched Krishawn Hogan off the street. This is what I'm saying. How does it look that you had Emmanuel Butler, you had LaJordan Humphrey, you had Taquan Mazel, who could play running back or wide receiver. You had at least those 3 guys sitting on the practice squad, and you go to the street and get Krishawn Hogan, put him on the active roster until he got hurt. and and didn't even look in a guy like Emmanuel Butler's way. I'm saying, what's going on here? You mean to tell me a guy off the street is better than the practice squad guy, Emmanuel Butler? Really? The guy you was ranting and raving about all through preseason, he wasn't better than Krishan Hogan, even though Krishan Hogan ain't did nothing but did a lot of blocking and caught one pass before he got hurt. So I mean,
yeah, see what you gotta do, you gotta make a slap Sean Payton shirt for that.
I'm saying what, and I'm saying you seen something that it didn't make any sense to me, because how is Krishan Hogan more developed than this guy? You've had him in here all summer long, all through the camps, the preseasons. You got him there. You like him enough to put him on the practice squad, and then you don't go to him. A big guy like Butler, you don't go to him. Or LaJordan. They went to LaJordan later on. He got on the team, but like Emmanuel Butler didn't sniff the active roster, and I was like, that's insane to me. But that's what that's why I was like, I don't think that's not an effective way to use the practice squad, because imagine the psychological effect that leave on a Butler. Like, damn, man, I'm sitting on this damn practice squad. They go get a guy off the street. What that must mean? I ain't, what?
I don't think Butler gonna sniff it again this year. I'm sad to say that, but they got a lot of wide receivers in their room, man, and it's looking pretty tight, man. I'm gonna go with Micah Thomas, Sanders, Trey Smith, Fowler, Deontay Harris, and what's that guy that came from the Jets? The tight end, running back / wide receiver guy.
Oh, Ty Montgomery.
I'm gonna go and Ty Montgomery. That's who I'm gonna go with. But I'm gonna let Brother Paul get on here, man. I don't hold too much time, and man, you gotta give Drew Brees a break, man. He ain't really know what was. He put it like this: he had bad timing when he said what he said the first time.
Right.
And then when he realized that, it was too late. Everybody know he's not no racist person. So,
but, I mean, I would sincerely hope, and just to piggyback your point, Big Smoke, is that I would sincerely hope, man. We've been watching Drew Brees for over 10 years now, man. We know Drew Brees is not no damn racist. Come on, man. We know that.
Exactly.
And then this guy's been in the league for 20 years, and not one person ever came to the forefront and called this man anything but a model citizen and an active participant in the society who do positive things.
Exactly.
So I mean, I don't know what he is in his personal life or what he's doing. I ain't declaring that. I'm declaring what we know about Brees, and I'm saying if you're in the spotlight for 20 years, then you gonna show a crack in your armor sooner or later. Well, somebody gonna see what you all about. Especially if they ask and you question after question. Sooner or later, you gonna spill the beans of yourself in an interview or some kind of form or fashion. You'll say, "Hold on, that's something really strange there." But I don't think that. And I agree with you that the man ain't that. The man is really a Christian. He follows the principles. He take care of his family. He donates a large portion of his money back. He's a shrewd ass businessman, I give you that much. But he understands what charity is and giving money back to people who don't have it. That's a big principle of keeping that like old Reverend Ike. People might not know who Reverend Ike is. You got a lot of old information out there about money science. A lot of other stuff I don't too much get with, but his money science stuff, or how wealth is more mental than it is anything, that you got to see it here before you see it here. I mean, that's the principles that Drew understands, that the reciprocation of wealth to out there and not channeling it or damming it, but allowing it to circulate like that, it always come back to you. So he understands those wealth-based principles and the positive principles more than most, bro. I'm telling you, the way he practiced, he's unlike any other quarterback that you can ever see. I'm telling you. But yeah, Smoke Dog, thank you, bro, for calling, bro. I'm glad you got through, bro. And be safe out there, cuz, and don't be a stranger, bro.
Who that to the great think tank, man. And maybe have a good year this year, man. Thank you for taking my call too. And who that, Paul? I know your name, man. Who that?
Thank you, brother. Who that to you in peace. That Smoke Dog chiming in, man. I appreciate your Smoke. All right, brother Paul, are you still on the line, sir?
Yes, I am here, Q.
There he is.
Yeah.
Brother Paul in the building. Brother Paul, man, you heard me make that old reference of Reverend Ike. I see the historian knows. I had to throw a little Reverend Ike. The thing is, man, let me tell you a story about Reverend Ike. Long time ago when I was a child, probably the age of my son, my youngest son, my grandmother was watching something on television, and I was somewhere, I think I was playing or whatever I was doing, and she called me. She called me to come in their room by her. So I came in there, I said, what is it, Grandma? So I come up in the room, and she said, sit down with me for a second. And she said, I want you to watch something with me. So I sat down and watched it, and I said, Grandma, what am I watching? She said, just be quiet and watch. So I'm sitting down, and I'm watching Reverend Ike with my grandmother. And then, of course, she said, just listen to what he's saying. So I'm listening to what the man's saying. I'm just a child. I don't know about it and stuff like that. And then when she said, what you think? I said, Grandma, that man just trying to get some money out you. But I thought in my head, she said, no, son, that's all right. You'll get it when you get older. My grandmother, rest in power to her. She was a very wise person, because guess what? What he was saying, that came back to me in my head. And we used to talk about money science, not so much about the rest of his religious philosophies or whatnot, but his money philosophy. He often talked about the money stuff, and you can't talk crap about his money stuff. He knew what he was talking when he talked about money science, because he studied other guys who were teaching the same thing. And he would say to them that they would tell you everything but how you can be able to magnify your finances. And people be thinking that it's something like it's a key to it. He said, you got to see it here before you can see it here. And a lot of these people out here saying the same thing to him. He the one that sparked that movement of these Olsteins and all these other dudes running around here talking all this here stuff. They're supposed to talk. It's a balancement of it. You're supposed to preach a balancement. And that's why I just want to throw in there about old Reverend Knight, because the principles I agree with is this. I believe that in balancement, I believe that the righteous are, that you're supposed to have it. Let me see how I can phrase it the right way. I think that if you truly balance and you're a person that's really trying to do the right thing, then you'll look to balance your life in any way you can, because that's all it is. When most people a little bit too about the money versus the other stuff, you got to be able to put that thing in the middle there, right in the middle, to hit that stride. So you got to know about the money science, you got to know about the spiritual stuff over here, and everything in between, and being well-rounded and being balanced. And I have to credit my grandmother, who was a person that taught me about such things spiritually as well. And my grandfather was the money dude. He was the one that taught me about the saints and about money and all that. And I just thank the Most High, man, that I paid attention to them old folks, man. They was wise beyond their years, man. But go ahead, Brother Paul. I just want to throw that there, man. That was pretty good. What you think about the Saints, my brother, in the latest signings with Fowler and Nigel Bradham, Brother Paul? What's your perception on that?
I like your critique of Reverend Ike. What I say to that, if you were to shake his hand, you better count your fingers when you got through.
You got a couple of them out you.
I would just let that marinate. I'm going to let that marinate. But you ain't lying. That's where Joel Osteen and all them Peter Popoff and all them, that's where they got all that from. Yep. Like you said, if you shake your head, Q, count your fingers and watch your wallet. Because they will get you. They'll get you. But Q, you just started something with me. Just bear with me a few seconds. Mm-hmm. I'm looking at. Ever since I was a kid, I've been a football card geek, and I love, especially the old. And the Saints are number one. But I'm looking at 4 players right now from the Saints past. Just bear with me for a few minutes. The first one is Brad Alderman. Brad Alderman, I loved him as a kid. He was an outstanding player, but he started having back issues, and when that back and that knee started going out, he was gone. The next one is Reuben Mays, the Bayou Bullet. A lot of people don't remember, but he was a Bayou Bullet, had an outstanding breakout rookie season. But Q, what I didn't realize that Reuben Mays tore both his Achilles tendons on both his legs. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
I didn't know that, Q. I didn't know it. And then, we all remember he busted his knee in that playoff game against Minnesota. He tore his medial collateral ligament. That's one of the big ligaments in your knee, Mm-hmm. And Reuben was never the same. Another player, Floyd Turner. Wasn't very tall, but he was fast. And
Floyd Turner.
Broke his forearm his rookie year. It missed X amount of games. Then come down some years later in the Chicago Bear game in the Dome. I'll never forget. I believe it was Joe Kane hit him, and Floyd Turner broke his femur bone and never recovered. He was never the same after that. And last but not least, Dalton Hilliard tore his knee up, had his scope. Dalton Hilliard never had that speed and that cutting quickness after he had that knee surgery. He was never the same. So I said that to say this, Q. All these little injuries like Kiko Alonso and some of them other guys, I'm glad the States are finally seeing the handwriting on the wall, Q. And you're just going to have to move on from these guys. You got to get younger, stronger, and you got to get faster. That's the way the NFL is going now. You know, all that, you know, an old mindset of run the ball and just play defense and throw when you have to. That philosophy is pretty much almost dead. You know, you got to have your horses together. You got to have people that can get out there and get it. And I'm glad the Saints have finally realize that, you know, you just can't keep beating a dead horse. You have to make some changes. And I'm so glad that the Saints will get these new players in, because you're going to have to go a different way now. What do you think?
Well, I mean, you bring up first of all, I'm just kind of mesmerized on some of the old names that I haven't heard in a while. Brad Alderman, you mentioned him. Oh, man, Floyd Turner.
Yeah.
Man, Reuben Mays, that injury. I didn't know about Reuben tearing both of those. I know one of them. I ain't know both of them. That's why his career was cut so short, and that was a shame, because Reuben Mays was such a weapon, man. Right.
He was really special.
He got shut down way too young, but that's, you know, interesting to hear those old names that I haven't heard in some time. But as far as
and not to cut you off, Q, if you can remember all the games that he got hurt, he playing on that darn AstroTurf.
Yes, that's right.
That's what got him.
That's right. Yep, the AstroTurf. Yeah, that created the movement, though, Brother Paul. If you remember, all of those massive injuries that was happening with the hamstring tears and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. People was complaining about the AstroTurf, and that which created the grass movement, with to get rid of that old dangerous AstroTurf out there and create synthetic grass and the stuff.
A lot of people careers.
Right, and that's what they did too. And back in the Dome, the old days, a lot of people didn't know they didn't have any padding under that stuff. When they rolled that old mat out that grass, ask Ricky Jackson, watch your interviews about Ricky Jackson, that they had when they rolled that grass out there in the Superdome. Them guys was basically tackling on top of concrete, because they ain't have all that padding and stuff up under that turf that they put out there. So when them guys was getting tackled, they was on basically playing football on top of concrete. It was much later on, until after the fact, that they started changing, where you have the fake grass, and they started adding all of that extra padding underneath the turf. But you're absolutely right, though, Brother Paul. A lot of those guys' careers was cut short because of the AstroTurf. But, you know, that's a major component this year why, you know, we have so many different innovations as far as the turf is concerned. Even synthetic grass, to the point where they create rubber balls and it acts like it was dirt. All kind of stuff these people come in. Absolutely amazing. But as far as what you were saying about the health component and these guys being stronger and faster and focusing on that, I got to agree with you on that. And that's commonsensical. You know, Brother Paul, you hitting on it.
You got to, Q. And that's why I'm glad Fowler's there. I'm glad you got Callaway there. You know, Trey Smith is either going to have to ship up, or he's going to have to shape out. You know, ship up or ship out. He's not going. He can't hide anymore. You said that countless times, Q, in the past broadcast. He can't hide no more.
No,
he's either going to do it or he's going to be out the door. Because it's like they're not playing with him anymore. Well, now I don't know if he can see that or not. We can seem to see it, but he can't. He's not gonna get away. He's gonna just get by and make the team this time. You're gonna have to really show something, you know. And that's what I was saying in the chat. I'm really concerned about the quarterback and the secondary. There's two, you know, positions that I'm just, you know, it's just not selling with me, you know. Because, you know, I'm just happy to feel it. I hope I'm wrong, that at some point in the season, Drew's going to start playing old like he did in that Minnesota game. And then what's the Saints going to do? And then again, that bend and break secondary, you know. Malcolm Jenkins keep running his mouth. Q, we don't know. He might wait up till the season, the first game of the season, or 2 or 3 games of the season. Say, listen, I'm opting out. Forget this. You know, you just never know. You know, people can change their mind at the drop of a dime. You know that, Q.
True.
You know? So, like I said, Marcus Williams, like I said, I know he still got some help back there, but like I said, he can't hide no more. It ain't no more hiding, Q. You going to have to do it or you going to be gone. What you think?
Marcus Williams has definitely got to take care of business this year. He has the impending pressure of having the final year of his contract. A lot of people have him on the watch list. Like you have so many of the watch lists. I think that we need to create. I'm probably going to create, maybe we could do that, create a show where we put certain Saints on the watch list that we need to watch during the season. Marcus Williams is at the top of that list in terms of the watch list. No doubt about it. Malcolm Jenkins is supposed to come in there. I think that's a major component to it. Is the fact that Malcolm Jenkins was supposed to be brought in to help mentor Marcus Williams. So Jenkins does do that.
That's what I'm looking at. Q.
Well,
so, you know, like if you opt out, you ain't no, oh, I made a mistake. I can change my mind and come back. I think opting out is like being like on injured reserve. You're out for the year. How that's gonna work?
Well,
just wonder.
Well, he had. I played I don't know if you heard it yesterday. I played a Malcolm Jenkins. Was it yesterday? I won't say it was yesterday or the day before yesterday. Maybe it was 2 shows ago, 3 shows ago. I played an interview by Malcolm Jenkins that he made that night after he made the comment about on CNN about not feeling safe and we should opt out. He did a clarification video just to be clear, as he called it. It was about a minute and some change, and I played it for the Great Saint Think Tank, saying that he wants to play, just wants to make sure he plays under the right moments, under the correct environment. So I was asking the family members, like, we played this video, Planet. Does it help your fears about Malcolm Jenkins? Does it help it? You know, and a lot of people didn't think that it would, you know, that he would. They thought he would play. So I mean, we'll determine that August the 4th if he doesn't backpedal and go backwards and say no, I'm opt out. But I anticipate Malcolm Jenkins will play. You know, that's just my thought process on it. I think Jenkins will play this season. I think he will, to a degree, help with Marcus Williams' development and the pressure of having Jenkins on Marcus Williams's final season. It has to promote him to do something, and we're just going to see if he can make that jump. That's what it comes down to. He will have to make the jump, man. In his 4th year, this is his 4th year. He's his fourth. But this the thing, and I'm gonna address your other topics like you was talking about Drew Brees. I'm gonna talk about that one. But the Marcus Williams thing is this: he's been here. He's gotten a lot of playing time. We can't equate Kwan Smith and Marcus Williams on the same footing. First of all, Marcus Williams has been starting since he got here. He's had all of the snaps, all of the practices that you can have for a starting player. He's been starting since he's been here. So in the 4th year, it takes, sometimes they hit their stride in the 3rd year, sometimes in the 4th year. So everything he could be looking at, the game could slow down to a point where he could see it. And it'd be like the Matrix to him. That happens with a lot of players. The more developed ones see it early on, and then everything slows down where they can see it happening. They explain it that way. Like when rookies go, everything is happening so fast that they kind of get flustered by it. But the reality is, can the game slow down where he can anticipate it? You've seen snippets of it where he catches interceptions. He's actually reading correctly. And when I talk about Marcus Williams, I'm not saying those negative things, that he can't get an interception, because obviously he caught more interceptions than Von Bell ever did. So, I mean, as a Saint, so that's not the issue. His game, that's not the issue in his game. The issue in this game with Marcus Williams is that he has to become more of a ferocious tackler, and knowing to dislodge the ball from these guys, he's got to put some pain on them. He has to be a perfect tackler. You cannot be a sorry tackler at the safety position.
You can't be doing that. You got to be smart and taking
angles to take people down. You got to be able to, you can't, and you don't have to be perfect is what I'm saying, but you got to be a better tackler than what you are. And then you also, when it's the different aspect of it, keep your eyes up and see what you're hitting and stop being scared, dislodge the player. If you get a flag for hitting a guy, that's fine. I can't get mad at you for trying to tackle the guy, because sometimes we've seen in the league where you hit a guy the right way and they still flag him. That it's just, if they're gonna throw the flag, they're gonna just throw the damn flag. There's times when I seen people hit the guy with a helmet, no flag.
The momentum makes you
right.
hit the quarterback.
That's created gray area for them to have more manipulation and control on the game. Because they can also say, hold on, we're going to take a look and go back and look at the play and see if the guy intentionally set out to do it, or did he draw back or pull back. Clay Matthews, a couple of years ago, last year and the year before that, before he left to go out to the Rams, was having that same issue with the fact that he was pulling up and the guy still was throwing the flag. So it's a gray area that the NFL uses, because it got a lot of gray areas in its rules where the referees can interpret it. And the more gray area they have, the more manipulation they have on the plays to decide the game's other way. They don't want to eliminate that gray area. They love the errors in the game so they can manipulate the game. That's what it comes down to. And then they might change it a bit and do this or move this around. But as long as you still have it in the same hands of the people, that's the problem. That don't make no goddamn difference. If you really want to see a change, then have somebody that's independent of the NFL who you can trust that can oversee that. They'll never do that, because the referees is what they use to control and manipulate the games. Years ago, it used to be players.
And whoever that fool they be talking to on them headphones in New York every time
Tell
they
them to make the
challenge
plays.
to go to review. Come on, work on that, Q.
But that's the thing, though, Brother Paul. People don't understand. Don't look at it. If you're going to watch this the sports Coma, this is the Great Saint Think Tank. We're going to come at you with the real. We ain't going to play with you and pretend like the game is anything. I'm in my 40s, man. I don't have time to sit up here and tell you fairy tales all day. You're going to get the 100% real about it all. And the truth of the matter is that they cheat. The truth of the matter is that they got people that are very evil, that are very mischievous, that are very greedy, that are very power hungry, that are very dirty and rotten with rotten connections that's connected at the top of this damn football stuff. And we constantly have to put, like Goodell making all of this money, as a football commission is unworldly, and the type of crap that he do, the cheatery, the changing of the rules, the tuck
rule didn't even exist.
The tuck rule did not exist before it happened. They made it up out of the deal, stole it. They created a dynasty behind Tom Brady. We all know that. Everybody that know football know the tuck rule did not exist. There was no tuck rule. They pulled it up out of their you-know-whats, and they play games like that. They play games with you and tell you that, oh, this is a planet, and then years later tell you, oh, it ain't no planet. Hold on, I thought you said it was a planet. Well, I can tell you whatever I want. You going to believe it, right? How you going to prove it? What you going to do about it? You going to just believe what I say. That's how they come at you. We ain't going to play with you like that. But as long as you know where the power is and how it works, you got power over the process. The ignorant aspect of it is what keeps you in the darkness, and that's why they can be able to manipulate and control. Don't play it from the dark, man. Look for everything with an enlightened perspective. I don't care if it's football, basketball, baseball, whatever it is, any sport, boxing. I ride on boxing all the time because it's rotten and dirty and it's ran underhandedly and unrighteously. No doubt about it. And I tell people all the time, you want to know who control and manipulate the football games? It's the referees. They work for the NFL. They decide on who's going to win these games and lose these games. And that don't mean that you ain't supposed to watch.
They take dives too. I really believe
that. Man, they got books on this stuff. That's what I'm saying. I understand, man. It's too much information out here for people to be saying, oh no, that don't exist. Are you kidding me, man? Take your head out of the ground like an ostrich, man, and face the world and understand what's going on here. Trust me, you be empowered by it, man. I don't have time to sit here and tell you fairy tale and sprinkle sugar on top of mess all day. What good is it if you got a plate of dung, horse crap, or cow crap on a fancy $100,000 plate? It don't make no difference if you dress it up and put fancy wines all around it and all that kind of stuff. The plate could cost $500 and it's still crap on top of that $100 plate. You can dress it up all you want. You can sprinkle salt all on top of it and and all that on top of it is still dung. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about, Pamela. I mean, get buck on it, but that's the reality. Years ago, they used to use players to do it. Magic Johnson was point shaving. Michael Jordan was point shaving, man. They was doing that. That's how they got caught up. That's why they had to get away from the game. I'm going to take a retirement. No, you was about to get your head. You about to get your stuff handed to you. I'm telling you, all kind of stuff, man. They got books on this stuff, man. They got people that died telling people the truth, man. That's why people don't want to tell people the truth no more, because they don't want to do nothing about it. It's like, why would I tell you the truth? Why would Oprah Winfrey won't tell you the truth how the world works? What you going to do? What you going to do? You going to go back to, I ain't going to even go on into it no more, man, because it's just asinine. But the Drew Brees commentary about Drew Brees, the system is this. There you say, okay, Q, if you're going to talk about the system like that, then why play football at all? Reality is the system's not invincible. The Saints showed you over the last 3 years that they can beat the system by playing above the referees. You seen the referees was literally cheating to try to take the game away from the Saints. The Saints played above it. And then it wasn't until 3 years ago that I witnessed Sean Payton understand that principle. He probably understood it before that, but that's when I seen it. The change in the philosophy and the things that he would say and how he would change and how he would play these games. He understood that in order to beat the referees, he had to beat that paradigm, he had to go above it. You know, he had to play above it. But is there another layer some kind of way where it can affect the coach? That's a discussion for a whole nother matter. But the reality is this. The system is not invincible. It can be beaten. It can be beaten. But it won't be beaten if you stick your head in the ground and pretend like it don't exist. So Drew Brees, I think Drew Brees is a dude. He's going to take the team. He's going to play like a man unbound. You know, nobody, and many of these players could have been sitting on their tail. Drew Brees is not going to sit on his tail during the whole damn off season and not do nothing. He was swimming and working on powering his arm up. He knows his limitations. He knows he can't throw the ball like he used to. So what did he do? And I told people this before. It's like, you think a guy like Drew Brees is going to understanding that he can't throw the ball like he did last year, is going to not go into the season and work on it? Maybe some haphazard quarterbacks would, but not Drew Brees. Drew Brees is not going to sit there and understand that he has an issue with his arm and not go and work on it. So you get this throwing coach saying, what you won't do? I won't start throwing 50-yard balls some more. So what he did, you got a month to be able to get this hit at a third. What did he do? What the article say? Drew beat it by a whole week. He threw the pass. The man gave him a month to throw the pass. He did it in 3 weeks. And that shows you that he was working hard at it. And I was telling people, and then people still not going to understand it. Still not going to believe, oh man, Drew Brees ain't going to be able to throw the ball deep. He old. Oh yeah, really? Brett Favre winged the damn ball 40, 45, 50 yards, and he was in his 40s. So Drew can't do the same thing? And all it is him strengthening his arm to do it. It's a muscle. Just because you thinking that he's 40-something odd years of age, that he can't throw a 50-yard pass, this is Drew Brees. He have access to the best coaches that money could buy. He has access to the best equipment money can buy. How do you capitulate that he can't be able to solve that issue and he's 100% cognizant of it? I just don't get the rationale. If he sees it as a problem, as a detriment, then put the resources to it, the time to it, he gonna do it. This is Drew Brees, 20 years in the league, 10 plus years in the Saints uniform, and we still don't know this about the man? Come on now. We should know this. So I'm behind you with the Drew Brees. I think Drew Brees is going to wing it out. I think he'll be fine. And people don't forget, just because Drew Brees did this in the offseason do not mean that he won't still be working on his arm and stuff through the season. I'm telling you, he knows what he's doing. So, and then Traquan Smith. Let's talk about Traquan Smith, because you talked about Marcus Williams. And Marcus Williams in his final year, we should see by all indications, we've given him all the time, starting time, all the reputations we'll see this year. Malcolm Jenkins will be his mentor. That's the one thing he didn't have, was a guy with that type of thought process who's been in the thick of it like Jenkins to mentor him and show him what he's been doing wrong. We've yet to see that, and I have big aspirations for Marcus Williams to be the best version of himself this year. As far as Traquan Smith, it's not the same thing. Traquan Smith does not have the amount of snaps or reps that Marcus Williams had. Traquan Smith has been basically the Saints' third wide receiver for a few years now. He is not good at going inside, and we all know that the Saints like their wide receivers to play inside and out. You can't just be a dude that be here running deep routes all day. They want you to be able to play inside and out. But his issue is that he can't
flats, the curls, and out,
all that.
Like
and he got to go inside the traffic, brother Paul. He got to be able to go in between the traffic and catch it in the crowd. He can't do that. Remember against I forgot what team it was. He caught it and the guy hit him and bust his face, knocked his helmet off. His lip was busted. His eyes was glassy. He got his issue, but he held on to the ball. That was a plus because he has to face that.
After that,
yeah, but it didn't happen. Yeah. But you got to remember, a lot of this stuff is you got Taysom Hill taking his reps. You're going to have Deontay Harris taking his reps. You're going to have whoever else cycles in there like a Ty Montgomery or whomever else. So you got people taking bits and pieces off of Tre'Quan Smith. So you won't see him develop like you see Marcus develop because you got to be on the field to see it and play it. Plus, he don't come on as a confidence guy to me. Like he was battling against Keith Kirkwood when they first got here together. Keith Kirkwood was confident and strong and playing, like I belong here. I was like, look at Keith Kirkwood. Tre'Quan Smith timidly walking around, not knowing. He worked with Michael Thomas over the season, still didn't get it. But perhaps we could see a similar transition with Tre'Quan Smith that we might see with Marcus Williams or Malcolm Jenkins. Remember, Emmanuel Sanders represents a mentor for Tre'Quan just as well as Malcolm to Marcus Williams. So they both have their mentors. The big transitions of this year that is here to help those young guys. And Tre'Quan Smith should benefit from having a wide receiver as accomplished and experienced as an Emmanuel Sanders. Mike Thomas too, despite as great as Mike Thomas has been, this is 5th year. He's only been in the league for 5 years. Emmanuel Sanders has been in the deep playoff runs. He won a Super Bowl. He's seen some stuff. So Mike, Tre'Quan, all of them can learn from Emmanuel Sanders. All of them. Just like them safeties and those DBs will learn from Malcolm Jenkins. Just keeping it trill. But outside of that, I agree with you, brother Paul. Go ahead.
Like I say, it's just the wide receiver room is just crowded. You just can't play the good goose. You're going to have to go out there and do it, man, because even with Fowler, man, Fowler don't look like he just go come there and play patty cake. He come in and try to get a spot, and I hope Tre'Quan is understanding that, It's just his mental aspect is what I'm just looking at. He don't want it bad enough, man. What you think?
I mean, we're gonna tell. I don't think they get rid of him this year, to be honest with you. Still got 1 more year left on his contract. I just don't see the Saints cutting him and getting rid of him. They like him. He a 3rd round pick. We'll see. But it's not a good sign when you see the Saints going with an experienced 7-year veteran like they picked up with Fowler. And then you still have all these other guys like Marquez Callaway, who I like, Maurice Harris, who I like, Deontay Harris will cycle in there. Ty Montgomery is going to cycle in there. Taysom Hill is definitely the top slot man that you have. Taysom runs across in the slot full speed. He's a quarterback. The Saints gave him the same contract. I said this before. The Saints gave Taysom Hill the same contract they gave Emmanuel Sanders. It was a 2-year deal worth $16 million. The difference between Emmanuel's contract and Taysom's contract is that Emmanuel's contract has incentives that can go up to $19 million. But basically, base contracts, they're the same thing. So you have Taysom getting paid basically the same money as Emmanuel Sanders to do what? To play. He's going to play mostly in a wide receiver capacity, which is going to peel off numbers from Tre'Quan Smith. So Tre'Quan Smith just got to make the best of his opportunities. But I don't think this will be the end of Tre'Quan Smith this year. The Saints still have him under contract next year too. So I don't think Tre'Quan Smith's going to be gone this year, family. He's cheap, and Sean Payton likes Tre'Quan Smith. Something really bad has to happen for them to say, you know what, Tre'Quan, we got to get you up out of here, which is possible. But for lo and behold, they like Tre'Quan Smith. Sean likes Tre'Quan Smith like Dennis Allen, like Marcus Williams.
Okay. It did sometimes, Q, what I think? Sometimes the coaches can be too high on the guy to a fault. Where the guy's not getting it, he ain't cutting the mustard. And, and sometimes that's to the player's detriment. And then sometimes, too, Q, it just could be the system. Maybe they're running the system on offense, or even with Dennis out on defense with Williams, and he's just not getting it. I mean, something's got to give here sooner or later. Like you said, you can't keep making it. They can't keep making excuses, and we're not going to keep making excuses for them. You either do it or you're going to be gone. It's just cut and dry. You know, because there's too many other players, you know, that's fighting to make the team that really want to play, and there's not happening problems, you know, and they can't, you know, justify, you know, their play or why you gonna stay. You know, I feel sorry for Sean Payton when he has to make these final cuts, because they're gonna be some critical people. I think maybe out the door. You know, like Kiko Alonso. I wouldn't be surprised if Kiko and AJ Klein get cut. Wouldn't be the least bit surprised. Because you got Chiquillo and all these new people coming in here, and then the new guy they just signed this week. I mean, hey, man, it's getting tough, you know. And you can't be having injuries. You know, I'd rather a guy that's got a struggle or whatever with the playbook, but you could kind of get that after a while. But when you're hurt and you're not there, that don't make you stay with the team too long. You know, they don't like injury-prone type players. They never did. You know, what you think?
I mean, you're right, but it depends too. Like you said, you mentioned Kiko Alonso. What you're saying, Brother Paul, I definitely agree with a lot of that. A lot of these guys in trouble, but a guy like Kiko Alonso, I think he'll end up on the injury list. You know, and being that they changed the rules on the injury list after, I think, week 3, that you can bring guys back to the active roster. They limited it, that they then took that off, and so you can bring guys back from injury this year from the injury list. So I think you can see them stashing a guy like Kiko Alonso on the injury list to free up a roster spot for another guy. Guys like Nick Easton, do you really want to keep Nick Easton for $5 million? The question is, what are the Saints doing right now? Are we serious about Everson Griffin? Are we serious about Jadeveon Clowney? Was it just rumors and speculation?
That too,
so that's
because
the thing.
You're going to get rid of Warford that went to 4 straight Pro Bowls or 4 Pro Bowls altogether, and you're going to keep Easton? Really?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If they needed the money, the thing is, if you needed the money, and if it was all about that, and it just to me, I don't buy the bunk, man, because it's like I could kind of see through a lot of the stuff. Like I said, man, we've been having Sean Payton down here for a long time, and it's almost like, and it's like you can read people at a certain degree. Like if people that have been listening to the stuff
every time, he can't fool you. You get him every time.
Brother Paul, that's the thing when you know people. If you know people, you know people. Because like if you listen to the Sports Coma, and if y'all been listening to the Sports Coma for years, then you understand who I am. You understand what kind of commentary you're gonna get from me. You understand what my beliefs are. You understand how I feel about the team. You understand how I feel about certain players. Y'all understand that, right?
You have your facts straight before you come out, so you don't just bust out with stuff. Just
Try to make
sure you got the facts straight.
Right. If I don't know, I'm gonna tell you. If I'm gonna tell you that, Brother Paul, because I make a ash out of myself if I come up here and say something like without investigating or doing any research. And usually, like I'll come out here and I will talk about it, and I'll bring my receipts. I'll show you articles. I'll play reports. I'll play you stuff and I say you see show and I give you examples. Like if I tell you something, then I'll give you an example of something that occurred to reinforce my point. So you can say, I'm just gonna throw something out there and say, here, just take this.
We were talking about running the ball last year and told that line went to throwing like crazy.
Well, but the thing is, the reality is he has the issue with relying too much on Drew Brees, which you've seen that disappear when Teddy Bridgewater got there. He changed it all up, got more involved, and that's the most alive that I've seen Sean Payton, offensively speaking. He was alive then. You seen him going over plays with him and he was alive. I was like, that's what you need to kind of wake up.
Two tight ends out there running with the running plays. He would do what he did,
Yeah.
But he just, like I said, but I respect Belichick too. I had to get to that one too. Eventually, Q, you got to let people go. I know, he was ready to run 6 Super Bowls. 5 of them, I say suspect. I think there's really one that they really won, but that's a topic for another time. But at least he wasn't just glued to Brady's hip. They finally parted ways, and Sean Payton just ain't willing to do that yet. But if this Drew last year, he ain't gonna have no choice, Q. He's gonna have to develop or find another quarterback. You just can't keep dodging that one. That can ain't gonna kick down the road no more.
I think they're looking at that right now. It's a lot more serious about Jameis Winston than we realize. I really do think so. I think Sean Payton is really, really serious about him, more serious than what we realize. We looking at him as a backup, but if you look deep down in Sean Payton's brain, I think he might view Jameis Winston a little more serious because you don't take I've said this before, you don't take a guy to back up Drew Brees. You think Taysom's the future of the team. You don't go and get a quarterback that is better than Taysom Hill at what he does. I mean, Jameis Winston is 26 years of age. He's 5 years removed from a national championship with Florida State. He was first overall drafted, and you don't get first overall drafted in the NFL for being a chump and not knowing what you're doing. You do have the ability to throw the ball. You have the smarts and stuff like that. Now, somebody could say, well, Q, what about Jamarcus Russell? Jamarcus Russell was lazy, and that's what cost him his job in Oakland. The fact that that was already known when they took him out of LSU. They knew how to motivate Jamarcus Russell in LSU. When he went to Oakland and got that money, he fell apart. He was lazy. He had the intangibles. He was a big guy who could throw the ball. He was intelligent. So he had his problem, but he was lazy. As far as Jameis Winston concerned, you can call Jameis Winston many things, but you can never say he lazy. He'll get out there, he'll give it an effort, and that's better than the guy not giving an effort. And Sean Payton is the guy that's
30 interceptions, man. Hey, he'd have been the sweet tea of the round, man. He would
have got that Carolina contract.
Yards,
he would have got the I've said that he would have got the Carolina contract that Teddy Bridgewater got. If he'd have had 15 interceptions and 30 touchdowns and over 5,000 yards, he would have got that deal, the Carolina deal. But the thing is, he comes here, he drops from what he was making to 1.1 million. He just, so he's relative to a backup. But Sean Payton is really like chess and checkers, and I don't see Sean Payton as a checkers guy. I see Mickey Loomis and rest of these guys as chessmen. They make chess moves, and you see what's going on. When you bring Jameis Winston here, Jameis Winston to me is more than just a backup quarterback in Sean Payton's mind. Most people might not agree with me, but I'm telling you, he's here for a reason.
I got to admit it. He's the near future. And I'll tell you something else. He would Taysom Hill. That's why they got Stevens. It was in 2 years, I would be surprised if Taysom Hill's gone. But they got Stevens just in case. Old Sean Payton, he a wise old fox. We got to give him more credit. You don't tip his hand too often, but he know what he's doing. He sees it down the road. We can't see it, sometimes in some decision he do now. But I really believe he is thinking future. He's going to have to, Q.
No doubt. I mean, it's going to take a few things, but yeah, it's as far as the roster's concerned, and you look at some of these other guys, man, it's going to be interesting this year because of the C-19 stuff that's going on. The fact that you got to chop off 8 or 9 guys at first by August the 4th to get them down to 80, then a few weeks later down to 53, and then of course build that 16-man practice squad, which a lot of those players are going to kind of be put on the practice squad, some of your best ones, depending on who you see. But you're going to have a lot of guys in the street.
I didn't know that, Q. That's great, really.
Yes.
They can save some of the guys that might get cut. You can just put them on now. I didn't realize it was 16. That's a lot.
It's 16. Not to mention the fact that they changed the injury where you could be able to put guys on the injury list as well. So I mean, you could pull them off at any point in time. So that's a part of it, man, that we have to realize that sooner or later we're going to eventually get it together, and it'll be interesting to see how it end. To be honest with you, because we're going to be watching it, but to pick a 53-man roster with this talented amount of people, you're going to be able to stash a few of those guys on the IR. Some of them other guys you could be able to kind of put on the practice squad. And you might have some guys that might get pulled off the practice squad depending on who they are. But you got to remember, when people make the cut on August the 4th, that's going to be, 10 players off of every, 30-something teams? That's almost 300 men that's going to be on the street. So you're going to have like a mini free agency boost right quick, and then you might see guys, veteran guys like a Nick Easton might be put on the street. You might see a Patrick Robinson put on the street. The Saints might have had the eye on a guy that somebody else had who they just ultimately decide to put on the street that they can then just cut another guy and put that guy. You're going to see movement is what I'm saying on August the 4th after the fact. You're going to see some guys that are going to look out and see, hey, I like that guy. Let's get that guy on the team. You're going to see some movement with that many people being put on the street by August the 4th is what I'm saying. Just be expecting that.
Like I said, with the Everson Griffin and the Javion Clown, I hope it don't turn out to be like the Bryant situation. Oh, I want to come in New Orleans, all this. And he tap dance and dance around there. We got sick of it. And he never did suit up in the Saints uniform. So you have to watch that kind of stuff, Q. People say one thing and do another,
True that. Absolutely, Brother Paul. You of course you always nail it there, Brother Paul. You always bring that wisdom and that aspect to the team, man, and to the show. That's always great to talk about.
Man. We appreciate it. But I appreciate your time, Q. We had to hit you with a blast from the play. Like I said, great players. But like I said, Idris cut their career short. And there's some guys on the team now, if they don't watch it, their injuries and their lack of play is going to put them on the street.
No doubt.
That's just a fact. But you take it easy, Q and family, and who that?
Thank you, Brother Paul. Who that to you, my brother. Be safe out there.
All right, you too.
Peace. That's Uncle Paulie. Uncle Paul, the historian, chiming in, man. Always good to see Uncle Paulie chiming in the chat, man. Uncle Paulie bringing out the old school names, man. I didn't hear Alderman and Floyd Turner in years. Floyd Turner. These are names I haven't heard in years, man. When you break out some of them old names, that brings up some memories, boy. When the Saints just couldn't get there. They had talent here, there, then they just fumbled and bumbled and stumbled themselves until, they'll be right there and then have an issue. It's just good to see some of them. We finally are working our way over that, that hump and gotten to the level where everybody respect and see us as Super Bowl champions. It's been a long time coming, I tell you what. Good to see some of the family members in the chat as well. I haven't addressed the chat. I apologize. I'm talking to the family member. Chemo Slice, who that to you as well. Good to see you in the chat as well. Big ups to you. Steve Going, who that to you, Steve. Good to see. Says Mays and Hilliard were rarely in the same backfield. Buford Jordan was the fullback. Moore used running back by committee. Further, Moore was a run first coach and Peyton is a passing coach. Thank you, Steve. Very, very true. Okay, let's keep it done. Jared says Pelican season officially done, eliminated from playoff contention. Is that 2 losses is all they needed to eliminate them, Jerry? Is that true, bro? Say it ain't so. I'm gonna have to look into that, man. True Louisiana says Gentry keep trying to force his Phoenix Sun system. Steve Nash, Amari Stoudemire, those days and working. That dude is not very good at adjusting. That's one thing I know about Elvin Gentry. And I know Gentry is what, in his 50s or something like that. And you know what they say about old dogs and new tricks. I just think that's not a good thing to say. You can't, when you get to that age, you have to be more flexible. You have to keep a flexible mentality. You can't just say, this is what worked me for years and I'm just going to keep it. That's not really a good mentality to have just because that thing worked for you. What if there's several other things that's better than that thing that can be half the work of that thing and half of the thought process of that thing that works 7 times better than the thing that you had that you was using. You would never know that if you don't keep a flexible mentality. So, but Gentry was always the wrong man for the job. If you want to give him a job, make him your offensive coordinator, but not your coach. And that was the problem when they hired Elvin Gentry. Dale Demps, that moron, hired him. And out of all of those prestigious coaches that he named, he got the cheapest coach that he can find. And that's why I despise Dale Demps. He sat on top of this and held this team back for years. When they changed over everything, they kept his garbage coach. And then I had a laundry list that I went down when all this happened. And I said, get rid of Solomon Hill, they did everything that we put up on that list except for Elvin Gentry. And this thing about, I like Elvin Gentry. You cannot get a fix to a coach if he's not winning. You cannot reward a coach he had 1 winning season since he's been here. 1 winning season. You can't reward a coach like that. And I've been saying this team is a young and developing team. Elvin Gentry is not that guy for this team. You need a guy that's done something. As a head coach in the league. Mark Jackson is a guy that will fit perfectly because remember, before Golden State was Golden State, Mark Jackson was there to teach him how to win. He taught Steph Curry how to be a point guard. Before, he helped set it there, and then he had a falling out with their coaches. They put Curry there, and most of that success should be attributed to Mark Jackson. Because Curry was winning with his players that he developed. And Curry looking like he the man now. That Mark Jackson sat on top of that team and got them from being a laughingstock to what they were being respected. Mark Jackson is a 19 or 20-year veteran player who knows the game inside and out. He commands respect at the point guard position. He was a defensive guy. He was an offensive guy. He assists. He knew the man just got it all together. You can't sit up here and tell me Elvin Gentry is the guy to lead this team. This team is a young team, and Elvin Gentry is a little too in his age right there. And then plus his system and that old D'Antoni system is not going to win you a championship. Ask Houston. You got a good defensive team that'll put up with it. The Pelicans turn the ball over too much. They're not. I mean, it's the number one thing. You're taking all these shots, and I'm going to just say this Pelican stuff, and I'm going to leave it alone because it's a Saints Farm family. Because we're doing a Pelican post-game report tonight, and I want to make sure I have plenty of steam and fire for their ass on that show. But I'm going to just say this and leave it alone. Elvin Gentry was not the man for the job. I've said it. I was documented on the show saying it. I've been coming at him with flaws in his system. The fact that he's irresponsibly pushing these players to go downfield without setting up the offense and jack up three-point shots when it's more favorable for you to attack the basket. That's what happened in the second half of the game in the prior game against the Utah Jazz. They had them by 15. Second half started. They stopped forcing the action and attacking the paint. They start jacking up shots. Utah got back in there. Next thing you know, the defense collapsed, and then all of a sudden they lose by 2. How do you have the game by 16 points to turn around and lose the game is beyond me. But anyway, Pelican post-game report later on today for those who want to know. Go keep it going. All right, Steve Goins said, do you remember Rob Ryan and Steve Spagnuolo, those two blitz and use defense to set records and impotence? Yeah, I remember it. Steve Spagnuolo was a joke down here. He was thinking he was going to take that giant system and bring it down here. And you got to remember, Spagnuolo sit on one of the best defenses there ever was. He had Justin Tuck. He had O.C. Umenyiora. He had Strahan. He had all of these guys on that defense. All you think you had to do was let them guys rush the passer and drop his people in the coverage and all day. I mean, come on. I could have ran that defense. Revolt says the term same backfield doesn't mean on the field at the same time means they both use as valuable runners. Thank you, Revolt. Kevin says, you've seen how C.J. Gardner hit that receiver from the Titans and he fumbled. That's what we need. Yes, we do. Crash says, Chauncey reminds me of Brian Dawkins so much. That's an interesting thing, man. I sure hope he ends up like Brian Dawkins. I would love to have a safety like Brian Dawkins, a young safety like that down here. Pay attention, 26. Who that to your family? Good to see you in the live stream. True Louise Animal. Who that to you? He says, Brown should have been gone 5 or 6 terrible years. Then one great one, they called him the best coach in the league. Ha ha ha. What a joke. Steve Goins says Allen's defense is not really vanilla. Vanilla is a zone with 4-man rush. Allen runs a complex man with various pass rushes. Whatever he's doing, he need to simplify it, bro, because he's not getting the same results. Even though the numbers are there, to a degree, you still have to be able to some degree, you got to be able to mix it up a lot better than what he's doing. You know, you could play zone, but throw some man-to-man in a little bit more. Play more of a balanced approach and rely. You know, that's what I'm saying. Get valuable pass rushers so you can put pressure using your line that you can situate guys back in passing lanes and make it difficult for them. You know, we have a very complex defensive scheme he running, but we have so much versatility in the defense that, you know, and that's the problem people had with Dennis Allen's defense, is that it tends to be a little too complex. Maybe you need to water this stuff down and start concentrating on building your defense around the talents of the team that you have. That probably will work out a little bit better. But a lot of people are having problems with Dennis Allen, I'm telling you. Crash says, not a fan of Dennis Allen, specifically in close games. Yeah, he would blitz on 3rd and 15. Explain that one to me. 3rd and 15, 3rd and 18. This dude will blitz on 3rd. It's just absolutely asinine. The kind of stuff that he does from time to time. Absolutely asinine. All right, let's keep it going. Scoop says, I thought he was a nickel back. Scoop says, Drew is a very competitive player to assure that he won't work on his deficiencies. Not to know Drew. Thank you. Frank Lewis, who that to you, Frank? Good to see you. Lee Wood from the Philippines. Good to see you, Lee. Who that to your family? Big ups to you as well. Crash says Brees is Brees because of his mental makeup. He hates to lose, even in Uno. GOAT. Right. I mean, that's his mentality. He got that Jordan mentality. You know, he's going to do what he feels that he needs to do to win games and competitions. Excuse me for a second, family. So this is one of the things that we dealing with. Dallas Allen, who that to you, Dallas? Good to see you in the chat as well. That's who as well. Who else we got? Trail. What up, Trail? Trail said would rather have kept Ted again over Traquan Smith. Damn, I don't know about that, bro. That dude sucked to me for whatever reason. Ted Ginn Jr. just disintegrated. And before our very eyes, he just disintegrated. The Saints let him do it. Let's see. Kevin says we need 09 Peyton back, cursing at dudes for wearing the wrong cleats. I mean, he has to get used to write stuff down and make it do push-ups and sit-ups. And now we got Smash Brothers and all this food, Zelda and all this in the locker rooms. The last playoff game, you got pools and whatever, all this, man. Come on, man. It's football. It's almost like a social club, man. No, it's a football team, bro. We here to win. And I think sometimes we get sidetracked with that, but none of that stuff should be in the locker room this year. None of that. This should be in that business atmosphere in the major proportion. Remember we talked about getting the video games out and all that music and all that crap, and you winning games, and I feel you understand that. But the next day, turn all that shit off, man. You celebrate that day, then the next day we back to business, man. You know, all that other stuff that we was witnessing. Now we need to get that out of here, fam. Crash says, question for the chat. Who is your dark horse to make the team? Callaway, Bocce, Nichols, Roach. I like Marquez Callaway. Joe Bashy Jr. is an interesting one too. I like him and Demi. I like all those guys, to be honest with you. All those guys are pretty good. Callaway, Bocce, Dietrich Nichols, Roach, all those dudes are my favorite dark horses. All those dudes, because I like all these skill sets. Nichols is going to show some sports in camp. Joe Bashy, the Saints could use a guy like Joe Bashy. He could play special teams for you. I like him. He ain't athletic, but he's smart. He'll stick his head in there and make a play. He's always around the ball, you know, and we'll see. But Marquez Callaway is a guy, big wide receiver, can play special teams, makes difficult catches in traffic. He's here for a reason. We'll see if he can survive the cuts, and perhaps maybe half of them may end up on the practice squad. We'll see. We'll see. Dallas Allen says Roach going to make it. He ain't a dog cause, but maybe Bocce, Joe Bashy, or Callaway be my choices. All right. Dallas Allen says cut P-Rob and Easton. I'm for that. Find somebody better. Scoop said I think Tino Ellis will be the dog cause. Dallas says I said bring Apple back. He can't. He's with Carolina, bro. He signed with Carolina. Steve says Fowler is a competition for Smith. He's a speed receiver that has mediocre hands, but is not afraid to go across the middle. Dallas says, speaking of Jameis, I said last year we should bring him in, and y'all clown me bad. But look where we are now. Dallas, you were right. At first, I didn't want him here because of how he was. He was a clown. You know, he was dysfunctional. He was a stooge. He was a stoop. You know, he was do stupid things. And for a Saint person like what he did, Marshawn Lattimore, he wasn't even playing, and he did that. You know, he done all kind of foolishness. Of course, I didn't want Jameis, but things have changed, and I give you credit for having that foresight and that clairvoyance. So big ups to you, Dallas. Big up. All right, keep it moving on. Steve says, forget about undrafted rookies without any preseason. They will be toast. We'll see. Crash says Throckmorton is another one they could develop. Practice squad. No doubt about it. I could see him on the practice squad. Derek says, don't forget to hit and like, subscribe. Thank you, Derek. Appreciate you. Good to see you in the chat too, my man. Appreciate you. Please hit the like button, family. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Thank you very much. Dada says, I agree, Q, love veteran quarterbacks. He's always been that way since he's been here. Jameis Winston is more of a serious replacement than he's given credit for. No doubt about it. I'm telling people about that. They just don't see it because they see him as a joke. Jameis as a joke. He ain't no joke no more. Sean Payton see Jameis Winston is something more serious. I'm telling y'all. You're going to see when he start talking about him more, you're going to hear. You heard Cam talking about him, happy about him. He talked about a lot of stuff in those previous interviews, but he was really big on Jameis Winston coming here. And the fact that he'll be mentored by Drew Brees. Even Cam Jordan said that. Crash says 8 sacks as a rotational pass rusher. Matthews in 09. I want those type of impact players. No doubt about it. Rotational player. Crash makes mention of this guy. Rotational player, right? Rotational player. 8 sacks. Davenport supposed to be starter, 6 sacks. He beat him. Rotational player, 8 sacks. That's what we need. That's what we need. That's what we need. Cheap. And he can get them cheap now. We'll see what kind of moves are being made. If you're serious about winning, you cannot ignore the pass rush. Mark Dice, who that to you, Mark? Good to see you here, family. And a live stream as well. Kelvin Washington from Phoenix, Arizona. What up, Kel? Good to see you in the chat, bro. Where you been at, bro? Good to see you, my man. Big ups. Revolt says, I hate to lose at Uno too. Revolt said, you ain't going to lose, baby. Big Dog Joe Bell. What up, Big Dog Joe Bell? Who that to you, family? Good to see you in the chat as well. William says, don't know how much Saints got. They never showed how much the contract for Bradham and Fowler. That'll come out soon, bro. The particulars wasn't released. We'll know something soon. Steve says less than $7 million. Byron says, well, don't know about the Saints. Doesn't have a whole lot of cap space salary anymore. We don't know. We don't know a hard cap number. It'll be coming out real soon. You'll see. That stuff, they just working. I seen a report on San Francisco's hard cap situation, so we'll see. Steve says Matthews, a shadow of his former self. Saw him last year, and my grandmother could block him with a whisk broom. Wow. Man, that's pretty bad, man. That's pretty bad. But anyway, family, I'd like to thank, we're getting close to the end of the show. I'd like to thank the great think tank for chiming in on this episode of the Sports Coma. Much love to you and Yearn. The Pelicans got blown away by 23 points to the Clippers. That was utterly just repulsive, man. Repulsive. And hopefully this will spur, I'm going to light into Elvin Gentry tonight. Pelican post-game report, family, please feel free to tune in. Pelican post-game report will be on tonight. Join the Pelican post-game report channel. Go to YouTube, put Pelican post-game report in there and subscribe to the channel, or check a look in the description section below. I think they put a link in it in the description section below. So we're getting close to the end of the show. I'd like to give a shout out to all the family members for joining us today. Also, to let the family know, who that to you, Jonathan. Good to see you, Jonathan Wilson, in the building. Tro Blewett, what up, Tro? Good to see your family as well. Thank you for joining the stream. William said, I seen Kiko was on PUP list, coming slowly, may not be available until late in the year. Definitely put them on the PUP list. That'll free open the roster spot. They're going to tuck a few guys on the PUP and IR list to kind of shelve them for the end of the season, if you know what I mean. Once again, I'd like to apologize to the family members for our internet connection today. It was absolutely sucked. I had a guy to come in here 2 or 3 days ago and replace the equipment. As you can tell, I'm operating with Spectrum, and this is pathetic. So I'm going to have the people to come back out here again and put some more equipment in here. We're going to get it right. So I appreciate the family members, and I apologize for the connection. But at least you can still hear me, even though it's skipping a little bit. But I appreciate the family members still hanging with me. And as always, please check out the Pro Shop. We have 2 different Pro Shops available in the merch section with the code to the Teespring Pro Shop. Stay strong, get your 10% off. And remember, all proceeds from the Pro Shop go right back into the platform, meaning to power up the platform so we can do more innovative stuff like the Saints HQ, the WhoDatDaily.com, and other great things. We continue to come out with more merchandise. We serious over here, man. We're serious. We're serious about what we're doing. We're a serious operation, man. We serious. We serious about our Saints. We serious about our Pelicans. We serious about whatever we talking about. We're not playing around. We serious. So I'd like to thank everybody for subscribing and doing what you do, to becoming YouTube members and Patreon champions, to understand that we serious over here. We don't play no games, and we're going to outwork you, baby. If anything, we're going to outwork your ass. So I appreciate family members for support. Also, if you want to listen to the show in audio platform, please feel free to go to Pro Radio. That's Spreaker.com/the Sports Coma. That's Spreaker.com/Sports Coma. Link in the description section below. We're also on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and any and everywhere there are shows. The Sports Coma, Pelican Post Game Report, Ring Kings Boxing, Tough Tiger Talk, all that stuff is available on Pro Radio. Finally, become a actually, I got one more after this. Become a patron of the show. You can go, and if you believe in what we're doing, $1 a month won't hurt you to donate to the platform, to help continue to grow, to be on, to keep putting on really good shows like this, engaging people, reaching out to people, talking Saints. The season is going to come. This is going to be a really interesting season, and I want to hear from you guys. So become a member of the Patreon by going to patreon.com/the PRO Media Network. You can donate $1 a month. $1 a month's really nothing, family. $5 a month, whatever. But I'm looking forward to having more of our Patreon champions chime in. And remember, with a Patreon membership and a YouTube membership, you get access to TSC Q&A, which is a show that we do every Tuesday night at 6 o'clock p.m. Lock show that's only for our Patreon and YouTube members, where they can chime in. It's a different format. Also, for the Patreon members, you get access to the show On Q with Big Q, which is a news show / sports show that I do. That's exclusive to our YouTube, to our Patreon champions via our Pro Radio. So that is another couple of shows that you can get as a bonus for being a Patreon. Just a little gift from you, from us to you. And trust me, on Q and Big Q is the serious stuff. Just ask some of our family members in the building to listen to the show. And then finally, if you're feeling safe, you want to get a mask for you and your children, for your wife, for your husband, for your family members, and you want to look stylish. If you're an LSU fan, if you're a Pelican fan, if you're a Saints fan, go to getlifemask.com. Getlifemask.com. 10% off with the code, the Sports Coma. This is not me. This is an independent person who listens to the show. It's tied to Mozzie 5, a good friend of mine who has mask, and him and his family has it. It's a very good mask with a really good filter in it. So if you guys are interested in it, go to www.getlifemask.com. And I made him give us a discount, 10% off with the code, the Sports Coma. Remember, all lower caps, the Sports Coma, get you 10% off on the deal. So remember, I ain't gonna send nothing to them without giving them a discount. I don't believe in that, because a lot of the family members out there support multiple ways. You know, they support several different ways. They support in the YouTube, the membership as Patreon. They do a lot. So the best I can do is give back. You know, I believe in that. That's why I was kicking that Reverend Ike stuff. You know, like Uncle Paulie was saying, you got to watch how many fingers you got when you pull them back. I don't agree with that, but I do not with I get what Uncle Paulie was saying, but my philosophy in terms of, is you gotta cycle wealth to get wealth. You can't dam it up and jam it up and expect you become a prisoner of it then. And we ain't supposed to be prisoners guarding it like you're supposed to reciprocate it smartly to get it back and keep it cycle. Keep a cyclic. That's what he was saying, that you don't use terms like spend, which means once it's gone, but use other terms like rotate, and that means that it's going to come back. Remember, it's a part of that that is basically a big part of his philosophy was speak it into existence, which is like in the Bible, it says one of the first things God says, like that, let there be light. He didn't just snap his fingers and it came on. He spoke it into existence, which is what you do, which is a power that you have to speak and activate things in your benefit. Remember, speaking things into existence, AKA the power of spoken word, baby, is something real, man. It's not spookism. It's not garbage. It's not trash. It's a major part of success. And while we not having success, you might be speaking wrong upon yourself. You might be speaking disagreeableness upon yourself. You might be speaking poverty upon yourself. Stop speaking poverty and disagreeableness upon yourself and others. Start speaking positive stuff upon yourself and others. Whatever you wish for another, you will get. Remember, that's a part of that cycle thing. So that's some of the stuff that he taught, as well as, and I done read a lot of literature on many other things going back, so I can get where he's coming from. But it's a part of that universal principle, baby. But anyway, I'd like to thank a lot of the great Saint think tank, man, for joining us today on this program. Tonight, family, just to let you know, there will be a simulation tonight. It's the Saints versus the Denver Broncos. The Saints will go to Denver. The virtual Saints are 8-1. I forget what the Broncos are, but the Saints are 8-1 taking on the Denver Broncos in Mile High City. That'll be tonight. So be looking out for that. There'll also be a Pelican post-game report tonight. Tomorrow, there'll be a Ring King Boxing World. And if you missed it, if you're an LSU fan, check out Tough Tiger Talk. There was a show did this morning covering the SEC 10-game conference schedule. Me and Mozzie 5 went over it on the Tough Tiger Talk channel. Like I said, man, we serious business over here. But thank y'all for joining us, man. Appreciate y'all and all that you do. And I'll see y'all later, man. Be looking out for the Madden simulation tonight as well. So much love, y'all. Be safe. Peace. And who that take?
Yeah. Well, all right. Like you always say, welcome, welcome, welcome. Number one sports talking D. We ain't like the Falcons. We won't blow the lead. Look, all we talk is who that, who got cut and who back. Rookies in the vets, players you should look at. It's the Sports Coma, you don't wanna miss it. Got the pre-game, party, post-game statistics. Get a visit from Sway, maybe DC or 5. It's the hottest thing smoking, Big Q and the guys. Go to YouTube Live, make sure you subscribe. Interviews inside the Saints locker room high. Talk to Drew, Jordan, Zach, Peyton, New Orleans, who that nation. Best believe when I say we bleed gold and black. Ain't a miracle or robbery could ever hold us back. No, Beastquake, Bounty Gate, let the truth be told. It's the Sports Coma, all we know is say Super Bowl.